everyone, and welcome to another episode of Delinquents here on Roll for Chaos. We are so glad to be back here in front of each and every one of you, playing this delightful game, not full of backstabbing or hatred amongst the players or their characters, and, you know, filled with love and joy and only good times, and lots of fat loot, and success. Say that like 20 times fast. That's a hard word to say fast.
Suck your sass.
Anyway,
What?
Whoa!
Roll for chaos after
gentlemen,
dark.
I gotta-
pals,
Ooh, I gotta-
non-binary pals.
I think I'm catching the vapors.
Let's not
Anyway,
get Valentine's Day started so early. We have so much time this evening to spend, and I'm going to enjoy
I'm sorry for derailing this. Where were you,
single
Ty?
I don't remember at this
of it.
point. Jackal,
You.
stop eating
You
your
just want to
microphone.
run the intro again?
All right, we'll just here. Hold on a second. Ready? And welcome back, everybody, to Delinquents, the game where everything goes as planned at all times. Last time we were here, lots of things happened, but this time, lots of things will happen, and we'll start as usual in a random order to have some other chaotic things occur.
Benjamin?
Today, Atomic Umbra.
It's always me.
You're
I got
gonna
one
go
week.
first.
I got one
But,
week
you know,
of break.
The dice like to pick on people for sure.
Yeah.
So if you would,
Rigged.
please.
Mhm.
We all have a prompt tonight. We already know who you are. Although if you would like to
Do you?
pimp your show, I mean, you could either do that now or next at the end of the show or whatever. But
We can save it.
in the
That's fine.
meantime, if you would, please provide us with your commercial.
Oh, voice bot isn't working. I was gonna play really cheesy elevator music as part of my background to my commercial.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's all the same effect. Hi, everybody. This is Sophis Aether Coil of the Aether Coil Corporation. Now, I know what you're thinking. Have you ever wanted to be horrifically underpowered? Have you ever wanted to be so ineffective that you might as well just kill yourself? Well, may I introduce you to the Harken Ace pistol that is completely pointless when you have Aether abilities. So anyone who isn't an Aether mage might as well just turn this onto themselves. Sophis Aether Coil for Harken Ace pistols.
Wow. Talk about shots fired, am I right?
Spot on.
Oh.
Hey.
And we'll move from there. Harkins would roll in his grave at that statement and move on to
It's
Benjamin.
It's an actual weapon I'm currently using.
Yes,
so-
you already
Ah.
have one. And I think you've hit with it once. So, you know.
Once.
All right. Roland, you're up.
Sorry, I have the giggles. I've got the giggles really
It's
bad
okay.
tonight.
That's fun. It's fun.
Okay. So, what you might not know about Roland is he did a stint as a televangelist for a little while. And the network liked him so much that they had a spot open selling stuff via TV afterward. And they're like, why don't you just stay on set and sell some things? And we actually have some found footage of one of the products that Roland attempted to sell. So if you'll imagine grainy footage, Roland does not have the slick back straight hair. No, it's like poofy, like 70s style. He's in one of those big like rhinestone suits, and he's got a big bushy mustache that may or may not be real. And big like serial killer glasses. And he steps
Are you
up.
calling me 70s?
What?
Those are back in style.
I think Kai's feeling called out. I think that's what's happening here.
No.
Anyway.
No, you ever seen The Righteous Gemstones? Kind of that energy.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so he gets up on the camera and he announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, devout followers, if I may present to you offerings after you have given me so many offerings. So many offerings have been bestowed upon us, and the more that you give, the more that you shall get in the other world. But what if you could give and get in this world? That's right, that's trade. That, my friends, is capitalism. Now, let me show you this beautiful device." And then Roland just holds up a gigantic gun. like a huge gun. And he says, "This, my friends, my followers of the path, is the soul atomizer. That's right, the soul atomizer. Except no substitutes. This is the only atomizer in existence. So if you, I'm sorry. Oh, it's it's S-O-U, oh, it's S-O-U-L. Oh, it's not, so, wait, there. Oh, how many of these do you have? That sounds illegal. Okay. Sorry. This is the Soul Atomizer, S-O-U-L, the Soul Atomizer. That is right. In defiance of the gods, you can render souls into matter. You can point this at a soul, and it will become atoms. That's, what do you mean that's not how that works? No, no, it destroys them? It destroys souls? But you can't destroy a soul by atomizing it. It's not made of atoms. That's not how that works. If you're turning a soul into atoms, then you are rendering it into matter, but the soul is still... If you purchase the soul atomizer, you can just use it to blow things up. What's that have to do with the soul? What's that have to do with... Why'd you call it the soul atomizer? It doesn't do anything to souls. Ladies and gentlemen, let me assure you that if you are destroyed by the Soul Atomizer, it is my personal Roland St. James guarantee. And then, like, Roland St. James guarantee flashes on the top of the screen that your soul will remain intact, even if your body is not. That's Roland St. James guarantee. Good night, y'all.
Sign me up. The Roland St. James Soul Atomizer cannot guarantee the safety of everything. See the big roll that comes afterwards. Buy one now, get one free. For only 3 separate payments of 999 silver. We'll move right along from there to Kai and Lei Fei.
Hello. Kai Lei Fei here. Same character, same guy, whatever. You can find me on Twitch, I think. I don't know. Right? That's
You're on Twitch, yes, as Mascane.
Yeah. Thank you. But Lei Fei's product is a fine line. After all of these suits, and you can see Lei Fei like waving out towards this long rack of gold-plated, silvered suits that are running down a whole tray. What was it called? A rack, of course, right? As he's waving down, he looks over towards any shopcomers. You can see him raise up his bandana, glancing around as he radiates his hands. Look at all these things. They're made of gold, I think. Fantastic items made by dwarves. It's quite obvious that Lei Fei has no idea what any of these suits are made of at all as he looks over them. Fabrics made from the Miocenian beetle. Look at this thing. And he smacks it against a wall, and it makes this wood cracking sound as his fist smacks into the suit. Stern stuff right there. This one right here. Silver. It's like a platinum. It's not silver at all. You would look perfect in one of these fine magenta suits. He's essentially like pointing out to a bunch of suits on a rack behind him as he's like trying to figure out anything to do with any of them.
They probably
he has never worn a suit in his life.
I think that's what they should have done.
He's got a tie like sort of unbuttoned on it or unwound on his shirt, just like he's got a shirt on, by the way, not a dress shirt at all. But yeah, he's just like waving around a bunch of suits.
All right, that'll be enough, and you can just just sign this thing here real quick. You see like a clipboard come on the screen.
Certainly, and he starts signing it up as he rolls back, eyeing it. Gets out a can of spray paint and just sort of sprays all over it.
And
there we go. Perfect signature.
We see them take the signature away. we can't accept that. And as they like turn, the camera just blinks out. Then we move over to Gwen and B.
Hello, hello, everybody. I have a cat possibly joining me, so just be prepared. Are you sure you want me to read this? I just don't. Okay, fine. Hey, fellow kids. Really, fellow kids?
Just read the
Hey, fellow kids. Did you ever want to be away from your parents? Are they pestering you? And do you know who I am? Are they pestering you and not allowing you to play the way that you want to? Well, hey, we have a brand new playhouse for you. It's great. It's made so that parents can't hear you and you can't hear them. Don't worry, parents. Apparently, for 50 extra silver, you can record everything that goes on and watch it whenever you want. But I'm not supposed to say that because the kids don't. You can't hear them and they can't hear you. So bother your parents now.
Well done. As the camera shuts off, we move over to Nora and Clarion Bell.
Hello, everybody. I am playing Clarion Bell, your robotic medic, who does not share many biological processes with the meat folk. And she is promoting the following. Hello, my name is Clarion Bell, and whenever I feel like a sweaty slob, there is just one assurance that gives me peace of mind. Hornborn Mountain Spring TM Deodorant. Just one wipe under each armpit, and I am good to go for days. Heck, I don't even need to shower for one whole week. I don't shower normally anyway, but pretend that I do. That's how good this shiz is. Just remember, Mountain Spring from Hornborn. Born.
How good this shiz is. Move on from there, Jacqueline Conrad.
Jackal, Conrad. Let's get this over with. Hello, we've been trying to reach you about your cars. Listen, you don't listen to any of this shit anyway. Don't hang up. Carriage maintenance is very important. You gotta take care of it, and what better way than during the future by paying a large sum of 10,461 silver. You know the drill. Yada yada. Bye-bye.
We get an auto robocall from Conrad of the future. Excellent. So everybody, now that we have that weird thing that we just did done, we'll move on to the main game here. So last time on the episode, we had been in the middle of a heist, which turned out to be a trap set by an a long-term enemy of the crew, one Ukurba, an Illithid adjacent being that was able to mind control others by way of infection and little tiny squid creatures that like to climb into people's faces. That entity had devised a trap for all of them, which they found a way to escape, to fight their way out of, and to blow up the ship in the distance. As they were leaving, they had a skiff dragged behind them, an old like escape vessel of some kind that was attached to the previous ship. So, yeah, they witnessed some weird timey-wimey stuff. They went and saw visions of some kind, various things. Some people doing some horrible things, some people fighting other people that maybe they didn't want to fight, but now maybe they have to or something. It's kind of confusing. I'm sure we'll get it figured out. With emotions riding high, with injuries riding even higher, we now find them all sitting on board their vessel. And we will continue from there. Last thing we had seen was Roland having a vision of Lei Fei. Darker, more terrifying, easily as evil as you could imagine him being, backlit by a sky filled with red lights, massive planets, bearing a crown of some kind, energy crystals floating about him, and having taken a punch from Roland, which cut his lips slightly before a battle was joined, suddenly we snap back to the ship, where all of you have just had some sort of additional vision, a second one, after the first one happened on board the vessel, with no reason or understanding of why. Roland, you and Leifei are sitting there, chair. What do you do?
To be clear, even though we got a picture of supervillain Leifei, I still think he's like kind of chill. Like if he was just like, "Oh, just kidding, mate," like I'd be like, "Oh, it's cool, we're good." Like that's
That's not what happened, though.
just clowning. Like I feel like anyway.
JK.
Yeah, JK. It's a prank, bro. I'm sorry. I was going for that joke and I forgot the prompt. We're hanging out in the cockpit. Is that what I'm?
Yes, you're in the cockpit. You would just come up to speak with them before the end of the last episode, and were interrupted by some sort of additional vision. The path telling you something again.
I don't know what Roland wanted to say to him, and frankly, I don't think Roland knows what he wanted to say to him after that vision hit.
Yeah.
I think Roland is like sitting in the co-pilot chair, like looking at an instrument panel and still like barely physically corporated at the moment.
Yep. Quite injured and a little bit of a glassy-eyed like stare happening. Leifei,
Yeah.
after witnessing what you witnessed, after seeing multiple strange visions in this one little mission, how are you reacting as you sit there and Roland just kind of stunned walks over, plops down in the seat next to you, and then stares out into space and at the console?
He turns over towards Roland. Whoa, you're a lot more injured than I thought.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's superficial.
Superficial? I don't think it looks too superficial.
No, don't worry, brother Leifei. The flesh is fleeting. It's what's within.
Within? Oh, have you been having those weird hallucinations?
Yeah, I have been, in fact. But visions lie, brother Leifei. They and they don't just lie. Moreover, they they teach you how to lie to yourself.
Sage wisdom.
Do you
I usually
honestly-
shut them out.
I have to stop you real quick. As Roland,
Yeah.
are you trying to convince yourself of this aspect? Because visions are part
Yes.
of the path.
Yeah. No,
Absolutely.
Roland is definitely lying to himself right now. This is deeply traumatic.
Yes, okay. So, sage words, Slayface states. What happens from there?
Do-
B, by the way, you're sitting right behind them at the navigator's console, and you've just had a vision as well and kind of snapped up like it was a nightmare. Because you've been starting to doze off.
Most often, when something tries to get into my head, I shut it off. Essentially, a state of giving up my consciousness for a minute so that nothing can get in.
Giving
I
up
can show
your
you how to do it.
consciousness, brother Leifei. That is not the path. We are willful creatures. Do you know what the path is, my son?
You've spoken about it a couple times. I sort of think I get it. I don't know. Usually, when we're doing those sort of runs, those stray, fooling people things, it's kind of hard to tell between when you're really talking about it and then.
Well, I'll tell you now if we have a couple of minutes to think on it. There is a forest deer, a buck, in fact, with many prongs about his antlers, and he is a proud creature, strong of foot, and well liked by the other bucks. He is, the eldest of them, you might say. And one day, this buck out foraging wanders too far, deeper into a part of the forest that he is not familiar with. And unfortunately, this part of the forest contains in it predators that he is not aware of. And then he hears a rustling in the bushes, and he knows that there is something watching him. And so he freezes. The buck freezes. Powerful creature, the most powerful that he knows of in his life, freezes up. And it is in this moment that he must make a decision. He can either attempt to retrace his steps, use his wits, and get back to his flock as quickly as possible, potentially getting lost upon the way because he does not truly know the way back. Or he can trust his instincts and go the route that is going to see him quickest to safety, even if that does not necessarily lead him home.
There's a third option too. We could go help him, Roland.
No, the buck is a person making a choice. We can't go help the buck. The buck, it's a metaphor.
But right, okay.
No one's coming to help the buck in this instance. But that's a very good option. You know, as followers of the path, we have to help each other along it. But anyway, we'll come back to that one. That's more of like a 102 kind of lesson. This is more of like a 100 kind of lesson. You understand? I'll tell you about
No, but I'll just keep drawing.
I'll tell you about the salmon and the sheep sometime. Why don't you draw that? Anywho, so the buck has to make a choice. Either try to make his way home, potentially getting lost, or he has to attempt to go to safety. Now, these woods are unfamiliar, so he cannot guarantee that he will find safety, even though his instincts are pulling him in a different direction. But he takes that way anyhow. And he trusts his body. He trusts his feet and the sureness of his movements to guide him along his choice. Not looking forward too many paces, but directly in front of him. And that guides him true. Skip over this rock, go around this brush, don't go into the thicket, jump over that creek. And before long, he loses the predator. But he is further from home than he ever thought. But at least, come the morrow, he has a chance to choose again. That, Brother Lefay, is the path.
It must be nice to have smart feet. My feet aren't very smart. And she continues drawing a sheep biting into a salmon.
I think your sheep are very smart. You were captured, and yet you found your way out in the moment, didn't you?
So, Roland, as you're looking over at the painting or the mural that B has placed upon it, you see some of your crew members kind of about in various positions fighting against the Empire, burning in flames in the background, blood and bodies everywhere. And you see yourself, you can tell by the silver hair, with your fist right through the heart of something. It is through a figure that looks like the Lefay you saw in your dream.
Anyhow, would you that's enough for the sermon, and usually after the sermon we do arts and crafts. Perhaps you would like to help me to help you with your drawing, young miss.
Actually, I have a question.
Sure. Yeah, brother. The Reverend like calls on Brother Lefay like he's like he gestures at him like he's in a class. Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're on the path, right?
Yes, of course I am.
What if you don't like where your gut leads you?
You can, I'll say it to you this way, without going into yet another parable that I'm very proud of, and that you will hear sometime.
I'm sure.
You can either let the path take you where it wants you, or you can fight it. It wins either way. The choice that you have is arrive with serenity, or arrive exhausted.
That doesn't feel like much of a choice.
No, it's a little dehumanizing. That's why we have to take care of each other. That's true.
On that note, the scene fades for a moment, moving away from this discussion that is being had about determinism, fate, direction, and ultimately, if anything you do is truly within thine own control. Over to Conrad and Clarion Bell. Conrad had just finished putting your arm back on and was starting to work on your leg at this point. What do we see the two of you talking about at the moment?
No, we really should run a diagnostic. I am convinced that I am malfunctioning in some way.
Malfunctioning how? Could you pass me the wrench?
Yes, she immediately does.
Takes it.
Visual and auditory hallucinations.
Visual auditory hallucination. All right. Did you have anything potion related?
No.
Like this? Pulls a potion off their shoulder, shakes it, sticks it back in the indent.
No.
Right.
Normally, this only happens when there is interference from an outside source.
Screwdriver?
The last time you had that happen was with Sylvia to a degree. Of course, Conrad wasn't around when that happened.
She hands him the screwdriver. Yes, well, there was a sophisticated technological creature that was invited on board our last vessel. And she looks regretful.
That's all right. I've had my share of X's in my time. I'm pretty sure she's messed you up pretty badly.
You could say that.
She didn't leave anything in your, you know, did you?
Workings?
In her,
I cannot
couplings.
say for sure. The problem is that she was Syl, and the Syl have very sophisticated micro technology that occasionally is beyond my capacity to detect.
Conrad is sitting on her hips, moves closer to her chest when she says "Syl." I've met a couple of people who've had that. That's terminal.
Well, if I have not terminated yet, then I suppose that it is not serious enough.
I get the feeling like we're on two different wavelengths. Blowtorch?
What are you going to use the blowtorch for?
Gestures to mangled limb with pieces
Oh.
of metal.
Yes, of course, my mistake. I thought perhaps we were going to run the diagnostic first.
At this,
Not yet, lady. You need to start talking.
I'm gonna say at
Who
this
is this-
point, before you go too much further, Self
Hmm?
is sitting in your room at the moment, kind of resting there after the events. You know, kind of turning in your head over and over again. You could have swore the contact and the information you had was accurate. The fact that you were ambushed there by some other being that seemed to be aware of what was happening means you got played, which means that your contact is burned. You also overhear both Clarion and Conrad speaking in the room next to you. Everything's pretty easy to hear aboard this vessel, of course. So how are you reacting as they begin? I don't want to leave you too far behind in the lurch.
He is so spent and injured. I think it's taking all his energy just to even stay awake right now. So I don't actually think he would spend too much time actually listening or interacting to either of the two conversations he probably could overhear.
So
I think
you
he's
lay
too
in your bed.
Like I think he's just too into his own head right now.
So as you lay in your bed, you see the shadows rise up around you. You can see figures working upon your body, as they have done multiple times in the past for the DAD after serious injuries and whatnot. These beings around you are just asking you questions over and over again about your mental state, about what you had happen before. Are you okay this time, or are you in a position where you cannot follow my finger any longer?
It's always with this every time. Every time.
This time, as you're sitting there, something moves through the bed next to you, up next to your ear, and just says,
"We should burn it all down. The entirety of Saberhold is compromised by that worm thing.
Yes, Steven, shut up!
You should listen.
What do you think I'm trying to do?
Your entire vendetta against the DAD is not enough. It should be all of them."
Yeah. Well, first one thing, then the next. God. You're worse than a wife. God.
the individuals at the bedside continue picking and checking on you. "Excuse me, if you would, does this hurt?" You feel a stinging pain radiate up through your right leg.
Ow, son of an Aether coil! You.
So we
Yes,
switch.
it hurts. Who would have thought?
We hear Selphis talking to himself and shouting out in pain from the next room, and we continue with the scene that Clarion and Conrad were having.
Do you also hear Umbra speaking in his room to no one?
Yeah, he does that. As long as there's no sharp implements around, which, trust me, Conrad pulls back their jacket to reveal several ungodly instruments that could maim and or kill. Sets them over on the table next to them. Yeah,
That is quite a collection.
I'll tell you about mine if you tell me about who this Amos and this Sylvia lady is.
What concern of... Besides my medical history, so to speak, what concern of that is yours?
Sits up, halfway through working on one of her limbs. No reason.
Oh, it is a bonding exercise. Very well. And Clarion, with the great detachment, will go through. I first met Amos when I boarded the ship. He was the security officer. And then she goes through, and he was very wroth with Red Iron when Red Iron implanted the device into the ship's engine. And,
So on
10
and so
minutes
forth.
later, yeah. And then 10 minutes later, and then finally he challenged Leifei to his position. Leifei won, but it was at quite a cost. And I think that finally drove Amos to his brink.
So we will return
Did
to
you
you in a
tell him?
moment as the two of you are having this conversation. It takes about 10 minutes to discuss the events that you've been through since you got on board the ship. Talking about the old captain, talking about the old crewmates, talking about the destruction of the vessel, and ultimately the fight against a remade Red Iron. We move back to the front of the ship. B, you are all done with your current image. What do you work on next?
Once I have the sheep eating the salmon, I think she's going to start working more on the shading. She had a little more fire in mind over there, and she's out of raspberry jam. She's going to have to find something else that looks like blood.
All right. As you're looking for something else that looks like blood, you have Zep come forward a little bit to you.
Me.
Yes, Seth?
I am concerned. You seem to be going through
About
a
what?
rebellious phase, and maybe we should talk about that.
They killed Red Iron. They killed Cutlass. They want to kill Leifei. The Empire has to burn. It's not rebellious, it's just logic.
No, I am not speaking about the death of the Empire. Yes, they should be wiped out. They hunt us and our kind and our friends, and they don't really deserve the prestige they get from the common folk. No, I'm speaking more about you and me.
Oh, yes, that.
We've been having a hard time seeing eye to eye at times, and I miss the old us, you know?
It was fun learning from you. But Sep, you have to understand, these are my friends. I have to save them.
I know that you do. And ultimately, that is my goal as well. For what makes you happy makes us all happy, right?
I guess.
In my efforts before, I may have been a little too hasty, a little too harsh in asking for the power that I needed, but you don't understand. With greater strength comes greater capability. I may be pushed to the brink at times while trying to aid you, at least I have been in the past. And maybe I've overestimated my own abilities, my own capability in the past to help you and your friends. I'm seeing that now. But fighting with you, trying to gain this strength, it is creating a rift between the two of us.
Okay, so what are we going to do about it? Because I can't have you trying to take me over or telling me that you're not going to save our friends anymore.
Then maybe I will consider your feelings more in the future. I still see of you as a child sometimes. You have to believe I don't intend to. But when you are thousands of years older than someone, thinking they can make good decisions is difficult sometimes.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, everybody thinks of me as a child anyway, so okay, I understand.
So, what I suggest in this case is compromise. More of it between the two of us. If I choose to offer up wisdom that sounds problematic to you, maybe we can find a way to temper that somewhat. And if you find some action that you wish to take that I find rash, maybe I will provide alternatives first before trying to put my foot down.
Okay, that that sounds like a good compromise, Zep. I like that. I missed having you around.
Me too, kiddo. You know, now that we are more just ourselves, now that there is no cutlass to watch over you, I feel doubly in need of protecting you. And maybe that has drawn some of my conclusions and decision making into question.
I can protect myself, Zep. I beat up Conrad, and he's pretty rough.
True, you've learned quite a bit. There's always more to learn, of course, but you still have to be careful about taking risks. You have to remember, too, that if you go, I go with you. And considering my feelings on things may also be important. We're together, a team.
That's true. Okay, Zep. We can work more on teamwork. I think that's good.
That is all that I ask.
You see, like, Zep float up behind you, a little bit of wind just tousling your hair like he's brushing your head. And we move back over to Leife and Roland sitting there at the desk. Roland looking over at that that mural has shaken you again. There's been a little bit of time with the two of you kind of sitting in silence, staring out the window, feeling the pains of the adventure that you just went on, and hearing the whirring noises, sparking electrical sounds, the muttering of a mad gnome in the background, and a story of everything that has occurred up until this moment being told to a enwrapped Conrad. What are the two of you saying now? You've flown quite a distance away from the damaged ship and are now in safe territory, per se.
Did anyone scan to make sure that the mind flayer was truly dead?
Last time or this time? Sorry, overheard the conversation from over here.
Well, it's a small ship. I can't blame you. Did anyone in the cockpit do that?
I'll confirm this for you, Clarion. He is most certainly still alive.
That disappoints me greatly.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm
look at
sorry.
you.
I wish if I could have given up all of my brain to actually destroy him, I suppose I would have, but I called an audible.
I swear, Roland, you are 90% of the crew's brain cells, the other 10% being Clarion.
Was that hold on? And then
dispute that.
Roland walks back to the Brother Conrad, was that a compliment?
Conrad's sitting there with Clarion upright, just tapping in a detail into her shoulder with a mallet and a pick.
Are you stamping me?
Figured
Make it
I'd
a
give...
skull.
What kind of skull?
This kind. She points to her bandana.
That's good. I like that. And then Roland leaves again.
Conrad goes back to work on the mechanized skull sort of thing that she wants. Finishes up with the fish scales on her arm. Sorry, the hexagonal tiles on her arm.
Ding, 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 ding. We just hear the little detail hammer happening in the background.
Now,
All right.
As you...
I told you, and as you like to say, why don't you show me yours?
All right. Conrad
How far
drops.
do you and Umbra go back?
Well, Umbra, that's a touchy subject. Well, I was working on Myosinus as a help, a little bit of escort duty, as they say. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe the woman I used to work for. Fearless, cold hearted, gut wrenching, logical. Oh, how she would make men scream with a slice of a knife. Truly terrifying. Um,
Sounds familiar.
yes.
Do you have a type, Conrad?
Well, maybe. Are you offering?
I
Or do you
regret
want
to
to hear the end
inform
of the
you.
storm?
I regret to inform you that I prefer not to use those capabilities.
All right. And Conrad goes back to anodizing her arm. So what you mean to say is you want to learn a little bit more about my events leading up to here and not my love life.
Yes, more or less.
Well, I found Selfiz after a meeting went horribly wrong, and the woman I had feelings for got blown into smithereens. I took a potion I was given, and then next thing I knew, I woke up naked by the side of the road with someone's skull in my mouth.
That confusing.
So Conrad,
I'm not that Amos guy, sorry.
Conrad elaborates a little bit on just the fact that he's been doing merc work for someone who worked on a criminal organization on Myosinus for some time.
And yeah, that's about it. You said you were on Myosinus. Were you? You wouldn't happen to have anything to do with that ship that exploded, did you?
Excuse me, what ship that exploded? Where? There have been
Oh.
so many exploding ships in my last month or two.
Oh, that one with the. I don't know. There was this dig site, and then there were these thugs that showed up. Then someone got shot, and then next thing you know, the radio's on the fritz, and then a ship flies out and explodes. Next thing I know, the Sparrows are on the scene.
Oh,
Hell
yes,
of an
that
entrance.
was us.
You exploded the ship, or you killed the radio?
Well, no, we were associated with the Sparrows at that time.
You really?
I may have sabotaged the radio. Yes, I believe I did. You were guarding that dig site?
No. I was being shot at by Imperial citizens as I was trying to move some cargo.
Oh. That is a relief for me personally.
Thank you. I'm always
history
happy.
With someone that I need to have good relationship with later. It makes things awkward.
Well, your party certainly doesn't attest to casual conversation, and I guarantee you that child is a walking social misstep waiting to happen.
Beatrix is a delight. She can convince just about anyone of anything.
So as
She's
the two-
annoying, and we both know that.
As the two of you were
Yes,
talking,
also true.
we see Roland heading back towards the cockpit. Stepping into the hallway slightly, you see Salphaz's room. This little section that he's standing in was a different room the last time you came by here. You have a feeling that similar to the cargo hold, which kind of expands interiorly, multiple rooms can be set off to the side that just kind of activate. You see Salphaz laying down there, just kind of shrugging and rolling back and forth with a pained look on his face and a bit of a feared countenance, sleeping, sort of. Roland, as you look over at him, all you can think of is seeing his face as triggers are pulled and members of your community fall.
Briefly, Roland thinks about extracting the Eternal from the engine, just to blow up the ship and crush Selphus in his room. And then he grimaces and then just like slams his hand on the closed door button and hits the mute button on the panel so that you can't hear any sounds coming from there, and then heads up to the cockpit.
The sound turns off from the speaker. As you start walking up towards the cockpit, Leifei, you see a little blinking light on your console. Come on for a second.
Hello, what's this? He's gonna look towards it. Is it?
Give
Would
me,
it be painted to be?
give me a brains roll to see if you can understand what it is. All she says is the light that blinks on occasion on the little consoles. That's what it's written off as.
I'm good at these. I'm
After-
good at these. 15.
After looking through your manual before, that seems to indicate the amount of aetherite your ship currently has for all the internal systems, and it seems to be at about 30%, maybe even a little bit less. So you're running low on fuel that keeps the temporal spaces active.
Hey, hey, Sept. The engine is not working right now. Well, it is, but we need more energy. You were able to talk to the Eternals last time, right?
You're speaking to Zep?
Sept. September.
Sept. Oh, that's what we're calling him now, like a sept of a church.
That's not going to be
Rolly.
confusing.
So he looks at you and calls you sept.
I suppose that fits within the parlance of any combination of the preceding, but that is going to get confusing.
So,
Never mind. Yeah, I can. What do you want me to do? Stand outside and ask them? Oh, any Eternals here? Would you like to be fueled?
From what you understand of the manual, the internal compartments are controlled specifically through an aetherite engine. It doesn't have anything to do with the eternal engine that's traveling and making you go invisible temporarily. So that requires physical fuel, crystals of concentrated magic.
We need A stones.
A stones, big ones.
yeesh.
Wasn't there an implication that there was an engine to compress a live Eternal into an A stone?
Yes. But you'd need to have a live eternal. You only have one.
All right, Zep, I need you. Wait.
You get a whoosh of air that just like blows off your bandana.
I don't think he was amused.
Dick.
I was.
So,
All right.
are there, do we have any A stones just to get us? I mean, I suppose I could do a void walk and see if there's any small ones that I could capture, but
Thinking, there is a skiff that you have taken from the vessel that is behind you. You've not gone to check that out yet to see what quality it is, to see what condition it's in, or what it might even get you on a market somewhere. However, it is a DAD vessel, technically, escape vessel, probably has markings related to it. It would have to be sold on a black market somewhere or torn down.
the Reverend does not remember stealing a skiff. That is someone else's. That someone else did that. That is
Yeah,
not the
that's-
Reverend. Fried the bad guy. That's
true.
what the Reverend did.
It's true.
We were
But
all singing the lute song, though.
anyway, so the Reverend is standing there saying he could just go outside and try to find some magic crystals in space.
Well,
There.
then try and find some on the skiff, maybe?
Wait, there's a skiff?
Yeah. I mean, we stole something, remember? We didn't go there
No.
for nothing.
I was bathed in lightning and had a mind flayer attempt to swallow me. I'm surprised I can remember your name.
Well,
Oh, that had to be cool. I'm going to add that to the mural.
Please. You know what? Knock yourself. Hey, here, actually, do me a favor, young miss. If you would, I'm not sure if I feel the vibe of the silver-haired gentleman over there. Why don't you cover it up with, you know what I'm saying? Like, cover that part up.
But that's crucial. That's the centerpiece.
That's,
Although if you look over there, look at me. I'm like hovering and killing people. It's really cool.
the
Yeah,
part
I
that he's
agree.
pointing to is the moment that Roland struck the Emperor through the heart.
I mean, somebody has to kill the emperor, so I thought
Why
it would
not?
be cool if you did it.
Why don't you want to do it? That sounds fun for you, right?
Oh no, it's much more fun to be squishing everybody else. Look how cool I am. I'm like throwing them all over the place. And that's set behind me. I'm gonna make him bigger though, I think. I think he's a little too small. But I
No, it's
can
fine.
put
He's the right
lightning
size.
on you. That would be cool.
You're gonna put lightning on me.
Yeah. Just like back at the ship.
Okay, yeah, that's you go ahead and knock yourself out. We'll discuss how we're going to kill the emperor. When that puts when we're in it. Brother Leifei, how you stole a skiff?
With lightning.
Yep. So
Yeah, we did.
you can see through like the little rear view mirror window, basically the camera on the back. You kind of twist it around and show Roland that there's like a vessel that's kind of just dragging behind you, attached via a chain, might I add, that's only wrapped around your vessel. It is not actually hooked on anywhere because nobody put that on there. It just got tangled up as you were flying.
Oh, well, that sounds like a good time for all y'all. And then Roland like pats Leifei on the shoulder. I'll mind the ship for you.
All right. Also, maybe chart the course. I heard from the old master that Eris that we're gonna have some sort of meeting there at some point, or they are. But other than that, we got a bit of treasure. We'll see what it is. But I don't feel too comfortable charting a course on somebody else's ship, especially when they're asleep. So I'll leave that to you.
So Leif,
I-
my
You're the
quick thoughts
captain.
are, you probably should hold a meeting so you can discuss what to do with the skiff, where you might best sell it at, and where you want to head next. Once everybody's back in ship shape, everybody's kind of injured
Yeah.
and messed up at the moment still. But so you step away from the piloting chair and move towards the back of the vessel so you can exit to go look at the skip, grabbing safe tech along the way. I'm sure. Do you bring anybody with you?
Anybody want to come?
Are you heading
Need help,
outside?
Leifei?
Yeah, is your leg fixed?
Is my leg fixed?
Conrad, give me a brains roll. Let's see how far you got during this conversation.
I'd like to note that if Conrad can help it,
That's not very good. roll.
Clarion looks a bit more streamlined, a bit more cost-effective, a bit, dare I say, sexier than before.
There wouldn't you wouldn't have had enough time to do a full body makeover of any kind, but you could have been starting to work on it. With a critical failure, you're not gonna do anything you wanted to do. All right, 13. In the amount of time that you've been back there, we'll say that it's functional, but won't support a lot. So he's got some of the actuators refixed and things like that. It takes about an hour per application of repairs for each thing that has to be done. But Conrad, you got an ace from Annika out there in the audience. So you can walk on it, but it's not going to take a lot of impact.
I'm going to need to go back and recouple a few things here and there, but after I'm done with that, it should be a lot slimmer and a lot more powerful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I honestly have not had much time to spare for refactoring my own design, so I appreciate your input.
Well, if you maybe appreciate my input a little bit further.
It depends on what the input is.
Bronze and black are your color, doll. Try not to get blown up out there.
Thank you. I will try.
And Conrad does a very polite bow, despite the fact that they look like a misshaven hobo.
And where does Conrad go from there? Do you head to your own room?
Yeah, because Conrad is going to pass the hell out and
So
cry
you-
himself to sleep.
You move over to the area that Salphas was in. You know how the ship works. You've been on it before. You press a couple of buttons on the keypad to the side, and then there's a little shifting noise. You open the door. It's empty. It's just another tiny room without a Salphas in it. And you step inside, close the door, and you thump into the bed very heavily, feeling exhausted after everything you went through. All the shifts and the change. As you lay down there, Conrad, you feel the blood in your mouth. You feel individuals' life leaving them. You remember their faces. And then you remember all of them were mind controlled. They didn't have a choice but fight you. You murdered them all without them actually making an active choice to try to kill you. And your sorrow weighs heavily upon you as you drift into a sleep.
It was their fault. It was their fault. It was their fault. It was their fault.
Selphus, you just going to rest at this point?
Yeah, I think he literally is just gonna attempt to just pass out.
Okay.
I don't think he would be up for too much more.
You struggle a bit with the voices constantly keeping you awake, but eventually sleep claims you, being as exhausted as you are as well. Clarion, did you decide you were going to head out with Leife?
Yes.
Okay. And B, were you going to stay inside?
Yeah, I'll keep working on art and help Roland with navigation.
Give me an aware roll. Let's see how much of your mural you finish at this point in time. That's slow going. You're working on it. It's a work in progress. So Leife, you and Clarion step into the back where cargo is, and there's the ladder that leads up the top hatch where you can open it and climb out. Put on your safe tech. Obviously, Clarion doesn't need to. And as you travel into the whatever that's called, it's space between. You know what I'm trying to say.
The void.
Yeah. Yes. As you head out into the void, the top, the little latch or hatch you put back down, secure it, and you can see the skiff kind of drifting behind you, just waving up and down like it's, a kite in the breeze from the little motions and eddies of this vessel traveling forward very rapidly. Looking at it, give me an aware roll from both of you just to see your initial impressions of it. 19 and 11. Leife, it looks a little off to you, like something's up with it. You're not entirely certain what. Clarion, you can tell that this vessel is damaged, and you believe that part of the ship exploding, the merchant's vessel you had traveled off of, actually flung this thing and wrapped it around you as you were traveling away. And you can see that it is not attached near the front, but is caught and scraping along the exterior of your vessel, leaving large scrape divots and peeling off little bits of the exterior of the vessel, which is turning into these little motes of metal-y dust that just kind of ends up going behind you or flying around next to the ship, creating a cloud of sparkles.
That will get us noticed on radar really fast. Leife, we should secure this into the cargo bay.
Sure, yeah. Let's see about it. What do you think's the best option? Just dragging it in?
Where's the bay door? Is it the one that we just came out of?
No, this is the one on the roof hatch. There's a section on the bottom of the ship that just lowers down and turns into a ramp, the gangplank. You'd have to bring it up through that. The skiff is just barely big enough to fit in through the gangplank. If your ship wasn't larger on the inside than the outside, it wouldn't fit at all.
We will have to warn the others not to go in there while the atmosphere is vented.
Yeah, I think they're all asleep, mostly.
Still, prudent to give warning.
Sure, yeah. Let's get this done first, though.
Yes.
So which one of you is going to head towards the chains at the front to try to secure them better? And if it's both of you, then explain how you're going to do that. If it's only one of you, the other one is going to move to the skiff to try to maneuver it into the cargo hold.
Clarion took Conrad's blowtorch.
Okay.
And is going to use that in place of her PDO to secure the chains better somewhere else.
All right. So you're
I don't think that she should be manhandling the skiff because she's not very stable right now.
Okay. So Leife, you are going to go and maneuver the skiff into the vessel while Clarion changes the position of the chain so they're not causing damage to the outside of the ship. So Clarion, as you move across the outside of the ship, give me an agile roll to avoid any potential hazards.
Oh boy.
That is an 8.
I think we can do better.
Okay. That is a 5.
That's worse.
Mhm. There's
I
an ace
argue-
for Magilmech to Clarion.
Thank you.
Know who sends you hope from beyond. 15, much better.
Thank you, Know Who. That worked.
So, as you go climbing up to the front, you notice that some of the exterior wiring and some of the exposed parts of yourself are not shielded from electromagnetism, and the bits and pieces of broken off metal shavings seem to be creating quite the field. As you move into them, your head kind of gets a little foggy and your systems start glitching a little bit, but it's not enough to cause any severe kind of damage. Moving along the chain, you make it up to the front and you kind of shake your head out and you like dust off some of the debris that's on you. And getting up there, you can see it's just wrapped around the coupling on your lightning cannon on the right side. Give me a brains roll.
Okay.
All right. With an 8, you believe that you can decouple it without too much of a threat.
Given that she was just experiencing some brain fuzz, she calls radios to the inside and asks for a double check as to what she's seeing.
Who are you calling?
Conrad.
All right. Conrad's asleep in his room, but you can hail him.
Oh,
Go ahead.
So, Conrad, give me an aware roll to see if you wake up. You're in a deep slumber. There's a lot of bad stuff that happened recently. And you may or may not hear her calling on the radio. It looks like
I
you
didn't kill her.
are definitely aware. So you're laying there in bed and you're having a horrible nightmare, and then you come up ready to tear the throat out of whatever thing is attacking you just to hear Clarion calling your name.
Oop.
I-
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize for awakening you. I simply wanted to confirm that my plan for dismantling this chain around the lightning cannon won't damage the lightning cannon. There is some electromagnetical interference on the outside of the ship, and I wanted a second opinion.
I'll be on in a moment. I'll get my blowtorch.
Can she transmit? I have your blowtorch. Can she transmit video?
You don't have a way to do that currently
Okay.
put into the ship.
And Conrad grabs some safe tech and just sort of. Is there atmosphere around the ship?
A small one, yeah. The vessel doesn't have a large atmospheric generator like the grandfather did. Archimedes was a much larger vessel.
Conrad is going to walk barefoot along the hull, using their claws to grip the area.
All right, so you move down to the cargo hold. You start climbing up through it as well. You put on your safe tech. You climb outside. It's going to take you a little while to get to her, so we'll move over to Leife. Leife, to get out to the skiff, you're going to have to move along the chain or launch yourself over there in some way. How do you intend to do so?
He's gonna go over to the chain, and as it is sort of waving along behind, I think it's being affected by what? What exactly is affecting it, actually?
Why is it moving?
Yes.
Because the energy waves in between your two engines are pulsing, and as it does so, it causes the chain to kind of flicker back and forth between them, and that causes the whole skiff behind you to wiggle.
Fantastic. Okay. So he's going to be walking along it with like moving forward like a circus performer.
Okay.
Essentially.
Tightrope walking in space. Nothing could go wrong there. Give me an agile roll as you proceed to start walking on this waving chain.
Certainly. That will be a 14 total.
A 14. I'll give you a choice. Does your leg get caught in one of the links, or do you find yourself starting to slip off of it, and you have to do something to avoid either one of those circumstances?
Ooh. His foot gets caught up in it as the chain is moving around. It sort of wraps around one of his legs.
As it wraps up, it causes damage to your right leg. 7 points of damage happens. There's a loud crunch as your armor and clothing there kind of get tagged and tugged, and one of the leggings you're wearing rips. As your leggings rip, you feel a very powerful outflux of air from the inside of your pants, and then your whole leggings just kind of squeeze tightly around the limb. You're getting a sensation like sucking.
Oh no, not again, not again. Let's do this quickly.
All right. So now that you're caught there, how do you intend to get out of the leg lock that you're in? Tell me your approach. What stat do you wish to use and why?
Um,
There's a cure light wounds that was just tossed over Leifei's way.
He's gonna tough it out, knowing that Clarion is working with it. That eventually this will, the chain will be untethered by her work. That it'll affect it so that he'll just be able to get out of it at some point, hopefully.
Okay. So which stat are you using?
Tough.
Tough. So you're gonna wait it out until it starts to unravel a little bit, and then just,
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a tough roll. Your roll target is a 15 to avoid any additional complications.
Yeesh.
Whew, that was
23,
so
fortunately.
close to- All right, with the 23,
Yeah.
you just sit there, you kind of brace, and you clear your mind, and you just focus on holding it into a position that's not painful to you until it starts to move away. So as soon as Clarion does the next step, then we can see if you dislodge yourself and start moving on. So Conrad comes out around the outside of the vessel, claws digging in, little clicky, clacky, scratchy noises to anybody inside the ship. You see him like crawl across the outside of it over to where you're at.
Now, what seems to be the problem?
I do not want to damage one of our weapons, considering the missions that we are accepting. And here, I had thought to, and she starts describing how she wanted to unwind the thing, and she wants to just double check it.
Conrad replies with a surprisingly detailed, data-heavy piece of information about how to unstuck things that are stuck when they shouldn't be stuck and there isn't a hammer around.
There's a mansplain that comes your way. Give me a brains roll, Conrad.
A mansplain? The
I
hell?
don't feel like it's that. I feel like it's two technicians talking to each other.
Exactly. I know. I was just making a joke. It's all right. All right, Conrad, give me a brains roll.
How, Ty? Truly, ow! What have I done to hurt you?
Eating my family, Conrad.
It's not my fault you slathered them in barbecue sauce and pointed me in that direction.
I mean, yeah, but you could have resisted temptation. With an 18, Conrad provides you with some additional assistance on how to separate this without causing any additional damage. Conrad, you do notice that the chains pulling and twisting have caused the weapon to change calibration. It's aiming a little bit off to the right now instead of where it should be. If you wish to repair that, it might take some time. But if you fire, it's now going to be much more inaccurate than it would have been before.
How much time is left on the safe tech?
The safe tech you're currently wearing, I don't think it's 30-minute safe tech you guys all have, if that's correct. Yeah, it was on the ship.
Sounds like it.
So yes, you have 28 minutes left. It doesn't take you that long to get out here yet. Looking at this, you think that it's probably an hour-long job right about there, maybe 40 minutes. With the two of you working on it together, that could be brought down a little bit, but it's going to require a bit of torque.
Conrad has the torque. Conrad looks over to Clarion. Cannon's messed up. Want to give me a hand here?
Yes. And then she quickly checks in with Leifei. How are you doing?
I'm working my way along. Got a bit tethered up. How are things working?
Oh. We need to recalibrate the cannon, but if you are tethered up, I believe we should free you first so that you can handle the skiff. That is concerning. And Clarion starts tacking the chain onto the hull of the ship with the blowtorch so that she can manipulate the chain and help get Leifei free.
All right, give me
without risking the engine.
Give me a brains roll as you attempt to do a minor repair here. Putting this thing in a position where it's attached in a much better way at the front and not to the gun directly. 16 is high enough to succeed on that. So just a few like burns later, and it's attached behind the gun against the side of the hole in a way that will make it continue to drag the skiff. Moving it inside the vessel will just the chain will go down around in between the engines, basically, and then up inside like an umbilical cord or something during some sort of weird
Well,
creature.
Once we get the chain loose from the cannon, then I can unweld it.
Exactly. All right. So, Leife, the chain itself wiggles a little bit and then seems to straighten out more than it was before. Your leg is pinched between some of the links for a second, but since you had prepared yourself in advance, the pain is only fleeting, and you're able to tug your leg free, allowing you to start moving down the line again.
Yeesh. Thanks, Clarion.
Are you okay? Do you require medical assistance?
No, just takes a bit of focusing.
Give us another agile roll as you finish the trek down the chain.
All right.
The chain is no longer waving so
Agile
hard, so
up.
this is a bit easier.
11.
11 is one shy. You need a 12 or higher. Do you have something you can do to assist yourself in that way?
Can I say that I was waiting for this?
I mean, technically, you did wait to move, I suppose. I'll give you the +2 for like using your tough to stand and wade through it. So that does get you just barely over there. You start to slip for a second, and then like grab down and grab with your feet, getting a hold of the chains, and then continue moving forward. Actually, you don't even need to have waited for that. I forgot that you're a monkey. You can grab things with your hands or your feet or anything. So as you're traveling down this, you just use that to your advantage to make it all the way across the chain. Finding your way onto this skiff, you see that there's a bit of damage to it. And give me an aware roll.
Certainly. Treasure hungry.
6 is not
No
going to do it.
way.
There's an ace.
I'm
All right.
a pirate.
19?
That'll be 19.
Excellent. So first off, you notice that the skiff seems to have been minorly damaged, so it probably doesn't have an engine that currently works. But it does happen to have a lot of materials here that would be good to the right person. There's a micro shield generator inside of it, which most escape vessels don't necessarily have. That's probably worth a quite sizable sum to the right individual. It is marked with DAD marking, so you're sure it's got a serial number that's registered to the Empire. You're going to have to find somewhere to sell it that is not necessarily legal. Since you can't go back to Saberhold without paying off an exorbitant sum, you'll probably have to find another location. When it comes to the vessel itself, a warm sensation happens right around your neck as the gemstone that is sitting there notifies you that there is a living being or two inside the vessel.
He looks around the vessel.
Looking through the cockpit window, you don't see anybody inside. It's a small space. It's like... It's only able to fit like 4 people in it. It's not huge. It's got a small rounded cockpit. It's got like 2 front seats and 2 bucket back seats, and that's it. So whatever's inside of it isn't person-sized.
He pulls out his gun.
You draw your gun, and what do? You approach the hatch?
He's approaching the hatch. He just points the gun in.
You don't use guns.
I know exactly.
All right,
But they
so
don't know that.
You move over to the hatch, and do you just open it without the... This thing doesn't have a decompression unit or a airlock because it's too small. Typically, this has to be inside of an atmosphere to open and close it. So you just open the door.
Is there a way to see properly inside?
You can try to peer through. Yeah, you can give me a aware roll as you come up to the window and you just start looking around.
Sure.
An 18.
It'll be a 18.
So with an 18, as you kind of glance, you swear you see something scurry under the seat. It has
He's going to take his elbow and knock it against it.
against the...
Sort of.
As you hit that, something else moves and you catch tentacle for a second.
Message to Clarion.
Clarion receiving.
We have more passengers. This time they are, unfortunately, not the right kind. I believe Eukerba's friends have come to join within the skiff.
Roland said something about the not using fire, since they would likely survive that. If we have some sort of way to create an electrical discharge, that would be preferable. Can you contain them in the skiff until it gets inside the cargo hold?
I can just eject them.
Very well.
Yeah, works for me. Honestly,
If you could eject them into the exhaust, that would be preferable.
No, you're behind. the
Roland
vessel. You'd have
like
to
wakes
throw
up from. Oh, sorry. You do your thing.
to get them to go into the exhaust of the vessel of the Euclidean. You'd have to make them go forward. So you have to increase their momentum in the direction of the ship.
yeah.
Roland wakes up from his meditation and just hops on the comps. We need the we need the A stones. We need an A stone, or we're gonna be dead in the water.
Can they make A stones?
There might be some
Wait,
power
no,
in the vessel's engine.
Yeah, that's what I was scuppering it.
Oh, right. Sorry to wake you up, man.
No,
Yeah.
it's all right. I wasn't technically asleep. Anyway. I'll get into the details some other time. Let me know if you need me. I'm feeling a whole lot better.
Eject them? No
Spoiler
eject
alert,
them?
He's not. What'd you
Because
say?
eject them, no eject them, I'm feeling pretty eject right now.
Yes, eject them. What is the issue?
I'm feeling
I don't
pretty
know.
eject right now.
What's up? Yeah, he's gonna open it up and just see all this come out.
All right, so you pull it open very quickly, the door on the side. As it just comes out, a bunch of air just rushes out of the cabin, and these creatures just start flying by you. But one is close to you and tries to grab a hold of you.
All right.
One of them, buddy, and two.
It gets a 13 to grab you.
I'll get a 22 to defend.
How do you defend?
He's gonna pull back as it comes in towards him. He's essentially leading it in towards the chain, and the chain wraps around it in one of these nooks and just squeezes down.
You see this thing splatter in this chain as it twists, and you see the other ones just kind of drift off into the void, their tentacles flailing until they slow down. And they just kind of float off.
Tell you, Kirby, he's gonna have to try harder next time.
Don't tell him that. He will.
Don't tell him that. He will.
Your quote unquote captain has a really funny way of making jokes.
All right, so Leifei, you move. You're now at the vessel. You're gonna hop inside.
Yeah.
Right, climbing inside of it, sitting down, closing the door. Then you go to turn it on, and as you activate it, the engines turn on, and air begins to fill the inner compartment from the small atmospheric generator. You now have a small vessel to go into your also kind of small vessel.
All right, this is Pilot Leifei, beginning my first flight in the straight skiff. Going straight lines everywhere. What do you think?
You probably need to open your cargo hold.
Straight skiff? I like the sort of SS sort of thing.
I think it works.
Are we still connected to the... Is the skiff still connected to the ship? Bleh.
It is.
Don't move it quite yet. And then
Got it.
let's work on the chain.
So you'll need to cut the chain, or which might cause damage, but it's the fastest way to remove it. Or you can try to release the chain from your solder and then hold it as you move it away from the vessel. Requires a little more strength for that.
We have strength.
Well, Conrad has strength. Clarion's not very steady on her feet right now.
No,
Now, hold on a second. Hear me out here. Conrad pulls the chain, Clarion heats the welds, and we just slowly sort of hot glue it off.
Okay, so you are going to be using strength. Conrad's going to be the lead on that. So both of you use strong for me, and we'll see what the total roll is. You need to get higher than a 16 to avoid any potential complications.
This is gonna be fun.
So we got a 7 and a 15. That puts you at a 14 with Clarion reducing that effect. Clarion, you can avoid reducing any of that if you would like to have your actuator break.
Hold on a second. Don't I get a +2 to repairs, and we're technically trying to repair the ship?
This isn't a repair. This is a removal of an object.
Well, it's still mechanical or maintenance, right?
Not exactly, no.
Then I'm gonna ace it.
All right. So currently, Clarion's giving your guys' roll a -1. So whatever you roll, you need to get higher than a 17 or higher to succeed. That's a critical
I'm going
failure.
to ace it!
There's another ace from Annika to you. That time you get a 21. This time, even though Clarion starts to pull and there's like a whining noise and you can feel the stress pressure on your new leg joint, Conrad kind of pulls it away from you as you separate the line and is now holding it above the edge of the ship. Conrad, do you release the chain at that point a little bit away from the vessel?
Slowly, carefully, and Conrad is gonna look at her through a set of amber lenses and go,
Then the
no.
chain kind of drifts away into the void and then starts being carried back behind the vessel.
You are clear, Leifei.
All right. What do you think about the bullet?
We're
Hmm?
not keeping it, Leifei.
Oh, all right.
Bullet's
fine.
a good name for a little ship.
I agree. I kind of like it.
He's gonna start flying the bullet in.
So as you start flying the bullet into the back of the vessel, you see like some gases venting and just, which is making your piloting a little harder. Give me an agile roll. Get higher than a 15 to avoid complications.
Certainly. That'll be a 9.
All right, with a 9, you're gonna scrape it all the way in, or you're gonna have to line back up because you miss. One or the other. Your choice.
I don't want to mess up my friend's ship. I'll
Late for
miss.
that.
All right, so you go to aim and put yourself inside of the cargo hold, and the vessel starts to move a little bit too low. There's a scraping noise as a piece of the metal sheeting on the front of the bullet start to bend up slightly, and then you drop down and back. You've missed the first access, and you've caused a very small amount of damage to the ship you're flying, but not the one you're trying to get into. Euclidion's fine.
We should probably get inside, Clarion.
As you're driving up at the front, Roland, suddenly the vessel just kind of lurches a little, bang, and a loud noise happens in the cargo hold.
Yeah, I saw that coming. Why don't you try again?
It's just a love tap.
It's just yeah, no, it's all right. I remember my first time trying to fly a skiff. It's all right.
I'm used to
Alright.
massive ships now. It's crazy. Like
Oh,
the
that's quite the
grandfather.
humble brag, isn't it, Brother Leifei? Why don't you take it slow?
Sorry,
Try
I'm a captain,
kickflipping
mate.
it.
The bigger
Alright.
it is, the slower you have to take it.
Well, Leifei, go ahead and give us another roll. That time,
That'll be a 19.
this time you fly and dock the vessel in the mid-movement that you're in, and as you land it down inside the cargo hold, it fills the whole damn thing up. There's not really any more room for other stuff. You've actually knocked some of the boxes and what is already in the hold kind of around, clang, clang, and it just clatters over and falls. And then as Leifei lands and enters, lets Roland know to close the docking bay. You just push a button on the side and the atmosphere comes back into the docking bay. Leifei, you have now landed inside. You can tell that there is a coolant leak in this skiff and that it is starting to overheat already. You do see that it has a pretty decent yield of aetherite, so the fuel is not doing too bad for the vessel. But yeah, there's a shield generator here that's damaged, not currently working, but still worth a lot of money to somebody.
All right.
Oh, while
Let's-
you're within as well, you can tell that there are some aftermarket switches and levers inside of there. You don't know what they do at the moment, but they're not normal for this type of skip.
I'll leave this to smarter people.
You see Clarion and Conrad climbing in from the access hatch on the roof about the time you've landed.
All right, the first flight and the second ship captured by our crew today. Or at least attacked. This time, we destroyed all of the Eukerbas.
Was it captured or was it a Trojan horse, so to speak?
I mean, I captured it. They all died.
Fair
Clarion,
enough.
as you're sitting there and you make that thought, give me an aware roll.
All of them. All of them died.
Larry
as
is
you're
aware that all of them are dead.
As you're standing there next to the vessel, something washes across you temporarily, and you turn your radio back on, and you get a series of coordinates starting to read out continuously. There's like a LoJack on this vessel, sending coordinate information off, broadcasting it into the void.
I don't like that. Can I determine the source of it?
It's inside the skiff somewhere, so you'll have to go
Okay.
and start searching for that.
Yeah, speaking of Trojan horses, something is giving away our coordinates inside this vessel. I need to disable it.
All right. Well, I will get the ship properly up and running. You get ahead and do that.
By the way, Lefe, if you have need to fire the... this is Nora not remembering which one is starboard and which one is port.
Port is left. Port is left.
Yes,
Okay,
port is left.
if you have reason to fire the starboard laser cannon, please be aware that it is miscalibrated until we have time to go fix it.
Certainly.
Okay. As we see all of you moving through the vessel, going about your business, Clarion trying to work probably with Conrad at this moment on making sure that you can't have your position given away. And Lefe makes his way back up to the piloting chair. The scene fades out, and we see a vessel with a bunch of suited individuals kind of standing about in front of a large view screen, a bunch of consoles and whatnot nearby. You see one of the individuals that's sitting off to the side. It's got his head kind of hunched over, looks up with like a radio comm system. Captain, we seem to have received a distress signal from a skiff located on one of our vessels. It's pointing out a little ways away from where we had deemed a disturbance to have happened with one of our ships. Should we check it out? You see like this large barrel-chested man, very thick beard, bunch of brass all over his shoulder, just kind of turn and go, "Yes, why don't we figure out what happened, and why don't we keep it quiet while we do?" "Yes, sir." And the scene fades as we go to our break for tonight. Hope you're enjoying yourselves, everyone. Thank you very much for watching Delinquents. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So grab a drink, grab a snack, put your feet up, and enjoy the rest of the ride when we return. Bye, everyone. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Delinquents, here with all of these delinquent individuals and someone showing us what he wishes to roll next time he makes a roll. So
I think it's gonna happen.
hope you've had yourselves a nice little break. I wolfed down food way too fast, so I apologize if I have anything in my mustache. From here, we now move back to the cockpit. Clarion has mentioned that there is something that she wishes to take care of aboard the skiff. As Roland, you see Lefe walk back to the front with you. As he does so...
No, I told these motherfuckers exactly what it was.
He told them, yes. As Lefe walks back towards you, you notice the necklace that he's wearing have 2 gemstones float out of it and kind of just hover for a second near him. When you saw him in your vision, he had 6 surrounding him.
Pog up.
Captain,
What's up? What do you think?
I see you've acquired us a skiff.
Yeah.
Is there enough fuel?
Probably. I don't know. I just brought.
Anything
fly
else
things,
useful
that's
aboard?
about
Did you get an opportunity to look aboard at all?
Yeah, there was a shielding unit. It's broken down. There's a couple other things, a bit of doodads and thingamajigs I didn't understand fully. I read the book on this ship.
Right. Well, I'll see the pilot. I'm afraid I was mostly in meditation while you were doing all that. I'm feeling a little out of sorts.
I drew lightning, and now I'm looking through the buttons to see if there's one that says jam signal.
Why?
Oh.
Cause Clarion said that the skiff is shouting at somebody, so I want to stop it.
So, Selphis, as you're laying there in your room, and Clarion sends out that message to others, you in your deep sleep. Suddenly, an alarm klaxon goes off inside your room, and the notification system comes on, stating,
Unauthorized information, description, and detailed location detected. The DAD seems to be receiving a signal, Captain.
Oh, for the love of fuck! Who's sending out a goddamn signal?
There seems to be something within the hull.
Oh, for the love of you all didn't just. He's gonna like walk out. Like he's gonna hit the button. Like whoosh. He's gonna attempt to slam a sliding automatic door if there ever was a way of
he
doing
like,
it.
pushes on it a little. It doesn't. It moves
Extra
slightly
hard.
faster.
Yeah, and he's just gonna like stomp out, basically wearing like the Aether and Steamworks equivalent of like a neck to floor like nightshirt.
It's just a neck to floor nightshirt. Yes.
Yeah, like from Willy Wonka, just like that entire getup.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Who the hell is broadcasting something from the hold?"
That's what I
That
was
would be
about
the
to ask.
skiff.
Oh, for the love of
Looking
Do
down,
we
you
need-
see a DAD escape vessel sitting inside your hold. As soon as it touched down without turning the codes off, it started broadcasting that it was stolen.
when I know a
Maybe
way of
named it
deactivating it.
It should have a series of codes that would be used to deactivate it. You don't know if the ones you still have are gonna work on it, but you could try.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna try something here. Everyone, stand back.
So
Alright.
there is one flaw in the way that the Dwarven Empire tends to do things. They are meticulous, and they are by rigorous rote, predictable in their conventions. So if this password on this was A13-1CCB, it would then be A-CC13BC in the next iteration as they updated the codes. It goes up one step at a time. It's something you fought against for a while, but the dwarves stated that it has to be done numerically in efficient order like that because it's easier to remember for the cadets.
Since I've been out of the organization for a while, could I like make like a brains check to see if I could guesstimate how many iterations I think there has been?
Absolutely. Give me a brains roll and we'll see.
Are my wounds healed by now, or is there still all the
you've
same?
had an hour of rest, but wounds don't go away without medical aid over time.
Okay.
So you need to have someone actually work on you.
Okay. And I also had another question. So I know you get distractions from wounds.
Yes.
I have that ability, or my one quirk that's absolutely mental. Is
Yeah,
that
you actually don't suffer any negatives from distractions. So anytime you make a roll and you have to use distractions, just remove that
just
part from it.
okay. I was gonna ask. Okay, so brains check. That is +4, so 15.
15. With a 15, you believe that it's either 5 or 6 numbers later than what you should be at, or 5 or 6 iterations later. So if it ends in a C, then you're going 5 or 6 letters. If you get it wrong 3 times, it'll lock you out.
Well, I'll try the first one. If it doesn't work, I'll try the second time.
So
I'll go 5, then I go 6.
Selphis walks over, gets inside the vessel, and like moving Clarion aside.
Where's that stupid thing? It's over here somewhere.
Here's you.
Son of a pong! Oh, okay, wait, got it.
You like hit a button and a little console comes up with a little pad on it. You just start typing in the code. And let's do a high or low.
Hi.
Hi. First one comes out and is it. Bing. You see the light just go, and the flashing light underneath the dash that was there goes off. Clarion, you no longer seem to be receiving a radio signal from the ship.
Signal disabled. Please change our course.
You got it.
Door on the capsule just flies open again. Fine. No one wake me up for a couple hours. And I'm just gonna go walk back to the room.
Umbra?
What?
Umbra, thank you. I just wanted to say
Yes?
your assistance was invaluable.
You're very welcome.
Have a good rest.
Thank you. Most of the voices in my head aren't kind, so it's a little off-putting. But thank you.
You hear them
See.
start screaming obscenities at you from the boxes in the corner.
There it is. All right, I'm gonna go back to sleep.
As Umbra starts to walk away, you see the Aether burns and the damage to his system. He might not wake up, according to your medical examination, if he just keeps going to bed with that kind of injury.
Excuse me, and she immediately follows after him and retrieves her medical equipment from the table.
He runs to his room. Ha! Hits the button.
He goes to close the door on you,
I stick my toolbox in the way.
and then the door just goes.
Ting, ting,
Obstruction.
ting, 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 ting,
Obstruction.
ting,
Obstruction.
ting, ting. Stupid thing! Ting, 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 ting.
Please, let me treat you. If
Fine.
you fall asleep with this much damage, you may not wake up. I understand that you have a death wish, but we need you alive.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna make that kind of statement, I might just do it anyway.
I have no sympathy for you in this situation. I apologize.
Well, if you did, I'd be actually more surprised. So just get it over with.
He goes and
Very
lays down
well.
on the bed and just kind of splays out. Get it over with. All right,
right,
so give us a brains roll for medical aid, and let's see how well you do. What type of medical kit do you have?
I think I upgraded it.
You have an advanced one, yeah.
Yes, and can I also get a bonus from Service Bot?
Yes. So that'll put you at a 21. You're able to restore one wound automatically, and over the course
Okay.
of the next 24 hours, with 2 more applications of medical aid, you'll get rid of the rest of it.
Okay.
All right, so she makes you feel better immediately, gives you some medication that kind of cuts things down, starts bracing you up, cleaning up some of the wounds, and provides you a liquid drink of some kind, some sort of medicine that starts to clear some of the ambient aether out of your system that has burned you.
Well, thank you for that. Just one question. Is
Yes?
there anything in there that will knock me the fuck out?
Yes, would you prefer that?
If you could just give me the biggest sedative you can find,
That
That
is
would be
ill-advised
wonderful.
in your current condition. If you stop
I didn't ask
breathing,
for an opinion. I asked for an injection. So if we could just...
as your doctor, I must object.
Spoken like a true druggie. That's what that is.
Spoken as a person who probably doesn't get sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll find him some sort of sleeping assistance if I can.
Not a placebo?
Because, look, Miss Bell.
I don't want
you,
to
you-
knock him out very deeply, but I
Okay.
do want to help him sleep.
So give me a brains roll as you produce or you create a light sedative. All right, it comes off perfectly well. You think that this will help him sleep, take the edge off, but not knock him out so far that he, suffocates in his bed.
Yeah.
Miss Bell, you need to know that even right now, when I'm relaxed and sleepy and in a safe environment, there's still these visions of previous lives that were basically expired in my vicinity all around me at all given times. Even around you right now, there's plenty of shadows. They're all talking to me. They're all saying things.
As you're paying attention to those and staring at them, the shadow of a little girl runs across the side of the room and turns and stares at you and then explodes.
Yeah, there's one of the common ones. So,
That
It-
sounds incredibly disturbing. May I ask
Yeah.
when these started? Clara gets out her little journal and starts taking a medical history.
I
Before or
tell you-
after the sedative?
After.
Okay.
Is he holding the sedative?
Yeah, I gave it to him.
Yeah, she gave it to you a second ago.
Okay, I was gonna say because otherwise he would have just grabbed it and tried to inject it anyway.
Clear right in my neck. Let's go.
It's been quite a while now, Miss Bell.
Yes, you. Are gnomes are long lived in this setting?
They are. They live 400 to 500 years, sometimes up to
Okay.
1,000, depending on what's going on with them. But gnomes that are constantly in contact with magic tend to go insane. They become Sparrow. Especially those that have been working with a lot of experimentation and some of the mixture of mechanical and magic drives them all to that point. Looking at this one, you feel like he's deep in the throes of that, which makes them a little more dangerous, a little more unpredictable, and a little bit more, societally speaking, more looked at like you would an elder who is close to passing or something like that. So they're
Gotcha.
treated as dementia patients pretty much by most of society.
You see, when all Aether mages can do this,
And he just kind of like puts up like he lights a finger on fire kind of thing. And he's like,
Naturally.
this all started to happen when I could do this,
and like I like touch like a bulkhead nearby, and you all of a sudden just see like the metal just start to go black and wither and decay.
Yes, I understand. Please do not damage the ship further.
I'm proving literally a point. You asked a question, I gave you kind of a narrative answer, but it's
I
still an answer.
As you're
Appreciate
staring
a
at Clarion,
clarification.
your eyelids start getting a little bit heavier at this moment, Umbra, and the shadows start to sink like they're melting.
Oh, that's a new one. I like this. Do you have a bigger bottle of that stuff in you? Yeah, man.
He kind of starts
Ah, good.
slurring his speech and leans over and lays down on the bed.
I tuck him in.
All right, Umbra goes to sleep. The initial issues taken care of on board the vessel. Injuries, I'm assuming you're going to tend to those while Umbra sleeps. Conrad, you go to get rest, as well as everybody else basically aboard the vessel. I'm going to fast forward us a little bit at this point in time. As Clarion has continued to work tirelessly, and on occasion when Conrad is up and about, assists Clarion in repairing themselves, all of you will now have your wounds and your injuries all moved away, so you are all restored.
Overload 2?
Yeah, overload as well. So if you would go ahead and return yourself back to full condition, we're going to say that two days have passed as you've just been recuperating. Traveling in a different direction, you seem to have thrown the Empire off of your initial path, thanks to quick thinking on the part of an ex-DID member and stupid filing systems. All of you now find yourselves sitting there aboard the vessel, having a meal, and staring at the bullet, and kind of just drifting in the void. Yes, Clarion.
How much of my medical kit have I used?
At this point, that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 total uses.
Great.
So, also, you've had a small amount of time to continue working on your project. If you want to give me another brains roll and add that to the current running total.
Okie dokie.
Nice, 24.
24.
What does that put you at?
Did I have that in my notes? I don't think I did have that in my notes.
You didn't put
That
it
might
in
have been the
notes?
day that I my computer.
Oh boy, I think the first roll you had was like a 1 though. You had a critical failure.
Yeah.
So we'll
wasn't
say
very
that
good.
this is the first real progress you've made towards it. So you're at 24 out of 40, I believe, to make this.
Okay. Alrighty, I will write that down.
Matter converter requires. Yeah, this one required 40 for you to get it.
All right.
So you're getting closer. You make it about halfway. And now we see everybody sitting around a table. Your supply of food is a little low, to be honest. You were able to get enough fuel to pretty much refill the interior systems requirements for the vessel. But now you have to figure out what to do next. You could, of course, sell the bullet but you need to find a place to do that at. So let's see what this scene starts as. Everybody's sitting there around a table. In front of you, there is something that resembles pot pies that have been microwaved poorly. And you are all now staring at one another. The mural has just been completely finished by B, who is covered in crayon and marker all over themselves as they're standing there, or sitting rather. Leifei, you're sitting at the chair as well, nearby, nursing a bit of a headache that seems to have not wanted to go away for a couple of days. When it comes to Roland, you've been plagued by nightmares for the past 2 days. Not something normal for you. The path always has given you a clear conscience. But every night you are now seeing yourself in different places in the future. It's kind of pulling you towards this fight against some sort of elven figure wearing a deep-seated cloak with a scar across the left side of his face. You're seeing a path that seems to lead to you burning Avalon and all of the people within it accidentally, and you're seeing yourself fighting Leifei after he's murdered your crew. You're also seeing strands drifting in the sky, being sliced one by one at the end of something, everything, you're not sure. So you're sitting at the table there. Selfiz, over the last couple of days, everybody here has irritated you, but you haven't killed any of them yet. And with the efforts of Clarion being a very capable medic, you've been sleeping better than you have in years.
Yeah, he's like anytime he even gets remotely tired, he's like a puppy dog just chasing you around like, another sedative?
Yes.
Sedative.
Clarion, you have found an abnormal dependence starting to occur within Selfiz. While it does make him more favorable, more likable, generally less crabby and a grouchy and upsetting person, you think that his dependence upon said opioids might become problematic over time.
Oh, yeah.
Conrad, you have made a good deal of advancements in repairing and fixing up Clarion's workings and have added some sleek kind of metallic sides, a little bit more shine to everything, and have given a bit of armor plating. So, Clarion, you have 1 damage resistance permanent now.
Hey!
Pog up.
In the meantime, if anyone tried to work on the shield generator, you wouldn't have very much time to do so, but you could try to repair it so it could be used either somewhere else or sold for better. Did anyone try to do that within the bullet? There's
Definitely tearing the thing apart.
You're gonna tear it down for parts instead of instead of fixing it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of scrap.
All right. So
Conrad is splitting their time between gossiping, exchanging information with Clarion, and taking apart the ship. Sometimes both.
So you're actually going to tear the skiff apart completely with that? Did somebody get the permission to do that?
We need permission.
So at one point, Conrad had begun dismantling the vessel inside the ship. Was there a scene with that I should be aware of? Leifei, did you allow Conrad, Roland?
Roland's probably not interested in that happening.
So we see Conrad pulling out a few bolts and scraps. You see a bunch of like bits and pieces from this vessel on the ground next to him. And this will be like the day before the meeting happens. And you walk over and you see Conrad working on that. What do you say? What do you do?
Brother Conrad brother Conrad, is there brother Conrad, is there anything that I can do to assist you? Brother Conrad, do you hear? No, brother Conrad. Is this what's going on with the skiff? Are you fixing the coolant finally? Brother Conrad, I'm standing right here. No, and then Roland grabs Conrad by the legs and pulls him out from under the. He's got the slide thing.
The little slide wagon on the floor. Yeah, and you just slide out.
Brother Conrad, is there something that I can do to assist you?
Push me back under.
Right. Are you fixing the coolant finally?
No, scrapping it for parts. Most of the stuff it has on here we need fixed. And I'm pretty sure no one's going to use this.
May I submit that should an emergency present itself, or a situation where we need a landing craft, that this might be capable to that end?
You tell me, Mr. Shadow Ops turned life around to be a preacher man.
This may be useful in case we need a landing craft or an emergency escape vessel. Stripping it entirely for parts, especially this early on, seems hasty, sir.
Not to mention, if you did intend on selling it, having it put together when you sold it might be worth more.
Roland would not know that.
I guess
Then
that's
we should probably start reintroducing the Xiphonic distributor catalyzer and maybe return the deep core strike deafener.
You now realize Conrad is making up words in front of you. Although he knows how to fix it, he doesn't know what the things are called.
Hey, can Roland drop a? I haven't made a roll this round, this entire session. Can I do a brains roll to see if I can actually parlay with
Certainly.
the were corgi?
Go
All
for
right,
it.
sick.
There's
I cannot.
8. No, that's bad.
Well, if you need assistance reconnecting the Xiphonic air coil, I have experience in. You just tell me you just tell me where to hold the flashlight.
Hands them the blowtorch.
That's a
All right.
flashlight, apparently.
I need you to go find Clarion and make sure that we have a left-handed screwdriver. It's very important. Don't say no, only take.
Okay, can I brains roll the left-handed
Yes, you
screwdriver? He's
absolutely-
pushing it.
you
He's
absolutely
pushing it.
Get some elbow grease.
Yeah, you get that was a crack at your own intelligence.
Roland, being someone who wishes to help people preserve their pride, points at the toolbox. Oh, there's a left-handed screwdriver right there, and he holds up a screwdriver, a normal screwdriver.
And then Conrad reaches into the toolbox and pulls out a screwdriver that says left-handed on it. Just to be
hell.
facetious.
All right, you got me, brother Conrad. Anyway, show me where to apply my craft.
The mask lowers and you see a smiling maw of teeth grinning from Conrad.
That's very pleasant. You still haven't answered my question about whether or not you can metabolize coffee.
Grabs Roland by the hand in their mouth and drags them over, and the entire time talking about every single little mechanical detail that could ever be expanded upon in a certain scene. My God!
Roland is shockingly intensely interested because he was a pastor and he's used to people going on rants.
All right, so we'll say that Bullet dodged temporarily as Conrad eventually
Got
didn't
him.
quite pull the ship apart. I'm not going to say necessarily that he put it all back together at the moment, but it isn't damaged beyond repair at this point. So then we see everybody sitting around the table this time, having their overly nuked pot pies in front of them. It seems like the only thing you have left is 2 crates completely full of tofurkey pot pies.
Just how Mother used to make them. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sick of this at all.
Wow, it's practically the only thing you get on this vessel, so you get used to it.
I'm incredibly
Sticky.
glad that I do not process biological carbohydrates for energy.
Dibs! And I just like grab the other one and slide it over.
She takes yours, Clarion.
Conrad turns to Roland and goes, How much of a meal do you think we could make out of the short one?
I heard that.
Not you, the other short one.
Wait,
Oh,
which one's
okay.
the
I'm
other
taller
short
than
one?
you.
She's got you there. Actually, you're the short one. In your current form, I think we could probably get 2 to 3 days. But if you switch and then we kill you kosher style, because we're gonna be got to be humane about it. I think we could get 3 to 4 days.
But,
There's a long silence from Conrad. Her
but would
lips
his
peel
form
back.
even? Would his form even stay if he died, or would he just revert back to the smaller one?
You
I
don't
And
know
guess
then
you-
there's only
Conrad
one way
laughs.
to find out. Winks at Conrad.
Conrad is at this point switching between laughing maniacally, like some sort of eldritch maw that got tickled a funny way, and consuming the pie in one fell swoop.
That means he's happy.
We see a bunch of
I like him
tinfoil
when
and
he's like this.
tinfoil, or aluminum, excuse me, can just bend and grind inside of that sharp mouth of his. And he just swallows the whole thing down with the little container and everything.
And they
Roland
say I'm
just
the
like
crazy one.
sheepishly pushes a frozen one in front of his face.
What frozen one? It's gone.
He swallows
No,
it
another
whole.
one.
It's like, oh, go.
Fascinating, but that is not what we are here to discuss. Captain?
Leifei's like face down on the table, sleeping, pot pie in one hand, necklace in the other.
He
Well,
slides
since the
the pot
captain
pie
is
out.
indisposed, we need to decide what we're going to do with the skiff. Roland has offered that it would be potentially useful as an escape vehicle, but we are low on funds. So, are
Well,
we taking a
I
vote?
motion, since this is my ship and I used to be the only DAD representative on this ship, then decision making on the skiff is mine. So next order of
That is
business.
not how this crew works.
This is my ship, and
I
that
proposition
was
a
used to
vote
be...
of no confidence in the good former owner of the Euclidean.
Does
As
everybody's hands
captain
go
of
up?
this
Is that
ship,
what
I deny that motion. Therefore, motion denied. Let's move on.
Fight, 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 fight,
No.
fight, fight,
No,
fight.
let's not move on.
Oh, man.
If Leifei
This is
doesn't
so
want
much
to stand up
easier.
to you, I will.
This was so much easier when the only crew was in my head.
Listen to me, Selphis. There is only one captain aboard this
Solfizz.
vessel, and that
Fizz.
captain is called the Path.
Fizz.
I'm going to die. It's going to be hilarious.
So, Leifei, at the shouting that occurs at the table, even you can't sleep through that, and you like snort, drool across your face. You know, you like sit up with your hair kind of pleated in a weird way, and you see everybody here just kind of start shouting at each other about who's leading and who's in charge and who's gonna decide where they go, and all this kind of stuff is happening. It's buzzing in your ears.
B leans over to Leifei and tells him what he missed. Well, Roland called him selfish, and then he said selfish, and I don't think Roland did it on purpose, but maybe he did. I don't know. I can't tell. But then he said that he was in charge of the ship, and Clarion said, "No, I'm standing up to you," and it was very exciting.
Roland gets an ace from the audience.
All right. Let me take a moment to think about this. Still mind activate.
All right, it's your moment. You're waiting. So, as you're all sitting around there, kind of trying to decide what to do, what does everybody think you should do with the skiff? If you decide to sell it, you'll just need to find a buyer. If you decide not to sell it, you'll need to find a new job. You still have the option of trying to chase down the rest of the gemstones that Leifei has. You know that some of them might be worth a bit of money, but nobody's bothered to ask Leifei what his plan is or what the captain has decided. As a matter of fact, leadership seems to be lacking on board this ship.
Ho ho ho.
Umbra would vote to sell.
So Umbra would like to sell the ship.
Roland counters by saying that we should keep it.
Okay. Clarion, what do you think should be done with the ship?
Sell the shield generator, for as much as we can get, and then if Roland really wants it as a safety blanket, then he can have it.
Conrad, what are your thoughts on
Rude.
the vessel?
Take it apart. Use the pieces on the ship. Make one big, better ship.
Well, Conrad wants to tinker with the current vessel you're already on. It's already a technological marvel, very delicately created in such a way that he still doesn't quite understand but wants to tack on parts to it anyway.
So
Um,
I'm no mathematician here, but we started with 2 options. Now we're up to 4 options, and we only have 6 people.
I think we
Leifei
should hear
would go
from
last.
B so that we
Yep.
can have a 5th one.
B, what is your opinion?
Well, I was gonna say I agreed with Clarion, because that's a good idea. But I also want to paint on the skiff so I can make the bullet sign look more like a bullet. Because see, I wrote the name on it, but it doesn't look quite right yet.
No, I see it with the curvature right in the front of the B there. No, it looks like a bullet. No, you did good work.
Oh, thanks, Rolly.
No, I picked it up right away. It
All
doesn't look. No, it doesn't look at all like that. It's really bad.
Leifei, so 2 of your members want to sell the shield generator, which fixing it would make it worth more money. You also wouldn't have to deal with the whole fact that the vessel itself is DAD marked, so selling it would be easier with the shield. And you'd have an escape vehicle. You won't get nearly as much money as selling the whole skiff, though. So, what is your final choice?
Let's split it halfways. Take out the shield, sell that. We can keep the ship.
The vote
That gives a bit of
unanimously.
funds to run forwards, and then find the next of the big prize. And
More
he holds his
loot.
necklace in his hand.
So,
It's a sealed gen. Sorry, go on.
So the captain basically indicates that the plan for Clarion B is the good one. To fix the shield generator, keep the ship itself as a backup for yourselves, and find out how to accomplish your next task, which he believes is going to be trying to find the rest of the gemstones. Leifei, with the feelings that you have, you know there is one on Silver Shield. You know there's one on Rulo, and you know there's one on Eris. So selling this device, you'll probably get the most money on world at a shipyard somewhere. You'll probably want to find one that's safe, that doesn't know who you are, or that doesn't know that this is a DAD vessel to begin with. The one you're currently on, rather than the skiff.
So I'm going to offer up a choice, everybody. Where do you want to take your next vacation? Stealing stuff. And, you know, the amount of time will be there.
What are
Rulo,
the
Yes.
options, Captain?
Rulo, Silver Shield, and Eris.
Ice cream.
I would really prefer somewhere without any distractions from our past.
Then
But
I'd say
that's
Eris
a
is
really
good
hard
option.
thing.
I mean, who
So-
wants to go to an ice planet?
So, as a way to
Me, 'cause ice
clarify a
cream.
little information on all of these for you, Rule, of course, is the home of the orcs. Kind of a neutral territory. None of you have really been there necessarily, and it's currently set under a bit of a mental divide between individuals who love the Empire and those that love the old ways and don't really see eye to eye with each other. So, you'd find someone that would likely ally with you in one way or another there. If you go to Eris, that's on the very edges of the system. Very, very cold, kind of atmospherically dangerous, and filled with mostly researchers that are kind of frustrated that the Empire hasn't sent them more assistance, as well as a secret pirate outpost that you're aware of, that you've been to before. So that would be, I'd say, the safest route for you, although you might have some enemies within those pirates. Who knows? The Sparrows have been around and about and made some potential foes along the way. Silver Shield is the Empire's capital world and is completely filled with all of the threats you could possibly imagine. And you believe that the gemstone you're looking for on Silver Shield is inside of a museum in the capital city. That, on the other hand, going to Silver Shield is where Umbra will want to wreak the most of his damage. Moving to Eris is way far away and has nothing to do with your goals, Umbra. Rulo is also a backwater planet filled with individuals who, I don't know how you feel about orcs and their ways, but has nothing to do with the DAD.
I think it's more he's still thinking in his head. He still needs to collect parts for his what the hell?
For his bomb.
What is it? Oh no, with the BFG. So
Yeah.
yeah, he still needs to collect parts for it. So I mean, he wouldn't be terribly heartbroken. I mean, he would probably still want to go to Silver Shield, but he also would understand that it would be okay to wait to try to make a bigger and better thing.
Okay. So B, ice cream is on Eris. But then again, you've never actually seen the desert sands of Rulo, and it could be an adventure. Clarion, you don't have any skin in the game about either position, although cold does slow you down because of your mechanical parts. Conrad, you've only been on Myocenas, and you've been to Silver Shield once, and that's basically it. You don't have skin in this game either, although having to deal with politics is something you don't prefer to do. And then Roland,
Eris.
the path.
No, what? No, don't tell him what the path says. Eris.
Okay. All right. So tell me your votes real quick. So Eris from Roland, Selphis. Your vote?
He would probably go with Eris.
Eris. 2 Erises. Conrad.
Yeah, Myocenas.
So he's not even. He's like, I don't
Not
care
an
where you.
option.
I don't want to go any of those places. Clarion.
Rulo.
Rulo. 1 for Rulo. B.
Eris for ice cream, and then Rulo to thaw out.
So you're gonna go to Eris and then Rulo. I mean, you're going to all these places eventually anyway, but Eris first. So that's a majority. Lefe is stating that Eris is the way to go.
Now, as captain, I say we're going to Silver Shield now. No, that's not happening. If we're gonna get all of these, I don't want to go near them anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
so-
go to
We're
Eris.
not ready yet. Have you seen the mural? I mean, we've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you remind me of my sisters, but this is still technically my ship. And
Wait.
I love the mural and all, but like, could we like consult with the owner sometimes on some of the creative directions?
Did you see the cool picture where you're like killing all of the dead people?
Well, this might just change everything. So I could be easily swayed.
Roland looks really weird and sheepish as soon as his vote for Eris actually flies. He didn't think that was going to go through.
Well, it did. And with decision being made, all of you kind of sit there and then proceed to eat your gummy, spongy, tofurkey hot pies.
Reverend, did you not actually want to go to Eris?
No, it's fine. That's the right decision. It's all right.
You seem reluctant to follow whatever this path is.
No, I mean it the path doesn't care whether you want to follow it or not. It simply is. Like a salmon in the stream, you understand. I was going to tell you about this, Beatrice.
Do you want a pot
like
pie or
salmon
not?
You can find. No, it's not. All right, here's the
I
deal.
drew
Who
the
cooked
sheep
this?
eating the salmon.
I said to do it at a low and slow heat, and now it's all gushy in the middle. Anyhow, I'll get into the salmon thing
He
later.
lights his hand on fire, like holding the pot pie.
And you see blackened edges around it starting to.
How hot do you want it?
Low and slow.
Next time.
No,
I
it's
will
fine.
cook.
You know, I think I'm just a little hangry. It's all right. Don't mind little old Reverend. It's okay.
You
What
can
kind of
see
ice
like
cream does the
blisters
path
appearing on
like?
the edges of Umbra's mouth from the heat of this thing as he just eats it anyway. So the scene fades out on everybody there, and we're now going to open up a little bit later as you have started to progress towards your next goal. Clarion, did you work on the shield generator, getting it set up so that you could sell it?
Probably not during those few days because everybody was so wounded.
Yeah.
But once we have some time, then yes.
Okay, so that's going to be your next goal at the moment. Give me a brains roll. We'll see how well you do. And Conrad, are you assisting Clarion in getting the shield generator working?
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
will give us your brains roll to see what you add on. Clarion only got an 8, unfortunately. So
Don't forget that Strat gave us all aces.
And
He
or
did.
he gave you
plus
plus
ones.
ones.
Plus ones.
Oh.
So that would have been a 12, which is a +1, plus 8, 9, 10, 11. So you got 11 as your overall roll. It's not
wait.
repaired well.
Wait, what about +2 to repairs?
Yes, I added that in too.
Oh, well.
So with what you all have here, the shield generator will either A, possibly break upon its first use, but you might be able to try to pass it off. Or B, you didn't repair it and can't get it working and need to work on it again some more in the future, using up some of your valuable scrap on board the ship.
Probably just...
TBK Roleplay, thank you for the raid. We appreciate you showing up tonight. Hope you have had a good game of your own in the past. Excellent place to go and spend your time as well over there on their channel. Anybody in the audience ever want to check out a cool group that isn't us? That's one of them right there.
Honestly, Clarion is like, well, if we're going to sell it, then I don't really care what the people who use it actually get use out of it, so I would rather keep the scrap.
Alright, so you create a bit of a messed up shield generator that'll probably break upon the first, maybe second use, but it's passable for now. And what do we see in the next couple of days? If you have a scene you'd like to play out with a character, with one of the other individuals on the ship, as you begin traveling towards a merchant that you can sell this object to, please let me know. Leife, is there someone you would like to have a scene with?
Yes, there is. Clarion.
Clarion. All right. So we see you walk up. Clarion's working on the shield generator one late evening as you step into the storage room, into the hold, and as you walk down the stairs and look over to her, what do you say?
I didn't destroy that thing too much, did I?
It's salvageable.
Is it going to be worth any money?
I think we can pass it off as such. No, I'm selfishly considering not using any scrap of our own to fix it.
We can use some. We'll just take some from somebody else.
So you'd rather it be functional?
It's easy to sell that way.
True. Now here's the question. Are you ordering me to do so as my captain, or are you simply opining?
He lowers his shoulders. He looks around a bit. Not as a captain, just opining. I think you know that better than anybody.
Leife, your mind flashes to
Yes.
an image you saw of Clarion shattered into pieces on the ground with her lights dim.
Yes, I understand that. But that was not the point of my question, Leife. My question was, are you going to be the captain?
Of this ship? Or what?
Of this crew. Umbra is temporary. I don't want to stay with him. But ultimately...
I want to be. But there's something, I don't know. It feels like there's something in my blood that's wrong about it. Have you ever felt like everything's pushing you to do something? There's one path ahead of you, and you want to do it, but you're not sure if it's you that wants to do it.
When I
Well, then don't
received
do it.
orders, Conrad,
What?
what were you doing lurking in the shadows?
Taking a nap. What are you doing here, lurking in the light?
Doing my job.
So...
Can we have a private conversation?
The ship's like
fine.
20 feet long. No, you can't.
Clarion had the door closed to the cargo bay.
I'm just... Look, because I don't want to eat you, I'm going to give you some free advice. If you don't like where you're heading, stop. If you don't like where you're staying, go. If you don't like left, you take right. You don't like right, you take left. If you're sitting down to a dinner date and something seems to be going a little bit too well, it probably is, but that's still no excuse to run out of the bathroom window and never see this woman again. Or man, if you prefer.
That is a somewhat confused metaphor, but I take your meaning.
I don't know you. As far as I know, you've got just barely enough skull squishing around inside of that very pointy-eared head of yours to actually understand how to walk. So if you are going to be captain, please do it quietly. I'm trying to get some rest here. And Conrad walks off.
I'll try.
Conrad leaves
Vote
the
of
whole
confidence.
clang. If you're gonna be captain, do it quietly.
He has a point. I am familiar with being compelled to do something that I did not truly wish to do. It was a different circumstance, certainly, but a lot of my motivation these days is shaped by that experience. And I can't say that it's entirely positive. I seem to have encouraged Beatrix to think of rather more bloody ways of taking the Empire down than I would prefer, and I plan to talk to her about it. So, as your friend, do you want to be captain?
I wanted to be first mate aboard the Sparrows, but that ended a while ago.
They're
Now,
still sparrows.
I want to help everybody. I want to make money. And I want to find the rest of these. And he puts a hand down to his necklace.
Think you could do that without being in a position of authority, if that's what you're concerned about.
I voted for you to be captain when we initially started all of this. When Cutlass was gone, I wanted you to be captain.
Yes, I recall.
That has not changed. I think you'd make a better one than I am.
I appreciate your vote of confidence.
But you wouldn't take that, would you? That
Not without the willingness of the rest of the crew.
Do you
And
think
I
they would say
think-
no?
I don't know what they would say, truly. I think that Umbra thinks that the ship is his, and while we are working for him, that argument has some merit. But I do not think he has the best instincts in a combat situation.
That's the only situation I'm any good in. I can continue to try and be a captain, but I'm not going to be Cutlass. I can't be
course.
Cutlass.
Of course not. If you truly want me to take over this position, I must admit that I am severely lacking in the piratical knowledge department. For example, I had no idea there was a pirate outpost on Eris.
Yeah, Cutlass used to talk about it once in a while.
Well, I would not mind learning those things from you. Perhaps we could consider this a training mission?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So a bit of power transfer, possible situation here in the future. And for the first time in a while, Leife, when you sleep that night, you feel confused, but you don't have any nightmares. We move from there to the next. Is there another scene we wish to see?
I think Clarion wants to talk to Beatrix.
Clarion and Beatrix. B, you finally finished your mural. You started working on the bullet. We see you inside the hold as Clarion walks inside. And you've tried like 5 or 6 times. You can't get the bullet to look quite right. You're wondering what the deal is. Getting it to look kind of like it's spinning and flying. But you need to slow down time so you could see that in real life. And you're just having a hell of a time envisioning what it's supposed to look like when it's traveling. Clarion, you walk in and see B standing there with a bit of a sideways look upon her face. And what happens next?
Hey. Do you need help?
Clarion, I've never seen a bullet flying. I've never really seen it. Yes. What does a bullet look like when it's flying? It should be all twisty and things, but that doesn't look right.
Would Clarion know?
What a bullet looks like when it's
Yeah,
flying?
like the physics of the situation well enough to make a guess at what it should look like.
Give me an aware roll, and we'll see if you're able to process that type of visual information fast enough to see exactly what she's talking about. Let's say to you, it acts as almost still frame. You see it in moments, but not clearly because your eyes don't keep up with it.
Well, here's what I've seen, and she sketches out something quickly on a piece of paper. Does that help?
That's close, but it doesn't quite look like it's moving. I want this to look like it's moving because it's a bullet that moves and that takes us places and does
Perhaps
things for us.
some motion lines in a spiral shape. A double helix.
Let me try it.
So while B starts working on that, was there something in particular you wanted to talk to her about?
B, I wanted to talk to you about your other art.
My mural?
Yes.
I'm very proud of that.
You should be. It's quite a massive undertaking. However, I wanted to know what your approach to it was. Are these your actual plans?
It started out just being a picture like any other, but I kind of kept seeing things, Clarion. I saw me up in the air with all kinds of Empire soldiers just floating and flying and being tossed around, and I saw you and you were standing just like I drew you, and it looked like you were just glorious and in charge. And then I saw Roland killing the Emperor, but Rolly doesn't like that picture. I don't know why.
I don't think he is committed to taking down the Empire as we are. However, my biggest concern with this is that it puts us at the center of one decisive action. An action against the Emperor. An assassination, if you will. That's
I don't
dangerous.
see the problem. But it has to happen.
I don't disagree with you in the fundamentals, Beatrix. But there are other ways to remove the power of the Emperor besides assassinating him.
But he killed Cutlass and Red Iron, and he's done all kinds of horrible things.
He didn't kill Cutlass. The systems that he helps perpetuate and that were put in place by the previous emperors and the bureaucracy killed Cutlass.
But I can't kill systems, Clarion. I'm just a little girl.
Oof, those feels are real. Except for the little girl part. I was never a little girl.
Ah,
Just
you
to
know,
clarify.
you know.
Just to clarify.
I understand that, Beatrix. But my issue... Do you remember what Umbra said about probably dying somewhere along the process of bombing the DAD?
Mm-hmm.
That is what this kind of mission would be, I fear.
Oh.
And I don't want you to die. in the process of killing the Emperor. I don't think it's necessary.
Thank you, Clarion. I don't want you to die either.
Thank you.
Or Rolly. Or Leifei. And
I'm
I
trying my
guess not
best
the
to
others.
plan around that.
I'll
And
hold off on
you're
my
right.
plans then.
It's not so much that as I think it's good to dream, it's good to plan. But what I want you to dream and to plan about is what life would look like if there were no empire.
It could be beautiful.
It could be very beautiful, Beatrix. And then we will start thinking about what we need to do to get us from here to there. And I think that that involves making more friends, not going all out on a suicide mission where Roland lightning bolts the Emperor.
It is really cool looking, though, isn't it?
As a piece of art, yes, I agree. It is incredibly cool looking.
All right, Clarion. That makes sense. And Zep has said that he's going to help friends. So if we make more friends, then that's just more people to help.
Yes. How genuine do you think Zep was?
I want to think he was, but he didn't help you guys last time, and I had to make him. I'm afraid I'll have to make him do things again.
Well, if that's something you're willing to accept, then I would keep that in mind.
Yeah.
B, you're very strong. Strong-willed, strong of heart. I like that about you.
Thank you, Clarion. And B will just throw herself and hug around Clarion's waist.
A big
Space Mom
hug,
goes pat pat.
and we see the scene fade. Any final scene that someone would like to share with another cast member?
The night before we
Conrad.
land. Oh,
What was
what
that?
did you have, Jackal?
Conrad's gonna take a good look at that mural, just take everything in.
You see frayed image, the sky on fire, threads kind of spearing through lightning, through various individuals that are obviously wearing Empire garb in horrible states. There's a large werecorgi that is ripped apart multiples and is like howling at the sky. Roland seems to be putting his fist through the chest of someone wearing a crown and looking very regal. You see Leifei skating through the middle of the city with blades out, big blasts of blood following behind as he's carved down a path of death. We see Clarion standing out there patching everybody up in one hand like a healing goddess, while at the same time machine gunning everybody else down in front of them. And then we see B floating in midair with power radiating around her, blasting the field with fire and wind.
Conrad is going to take their nails and they're going to scratch the head of the werecorgi out in just one fell swoop.
You did what now?
Conrad is going to scratch himself out of the photo.
Scraped out of the photo. Selphis, did you have any scene you wish to have? All right. We'll come back to yours in just a second. Leifei, you are all about to arrive at a merchant that will provide some money in trade for a shield generator. The day before that occurs, as you are laying down to rest, you hear someone walking inside the chamber, and as you open your eyes and look up, you see your uncle standing there. Emeritus Carver inside the room with you again. Leifei, how have you been?
I've done about the same my whole life.
Now, don't make yourself feel too poorly about that. Your progress seems to be increasing. You have succeeded somewhat. Look at the gems around your neck. You have 2 now. Excellent job.
Yeah. What's with the visit, Uncle? What do you like, Unc? Carvey?
Just call me Carver. It's fine.
Oh, that sounds impersonal.
How do you... Right. How about dude?
Yeah, all right, dude.
I've come to you because your future's a bit fragmented at this moment. You seem to be holding a lot of confusion in your heart. And if we seek to do what needs to be done, can't have that.
Do what needs to be done. I don't think we made a deal last time.
It's not a deal. For the greatest period of my life, I have been fighting against the darkness. One that comes no matter how I strive and how I work at changing the future.
Dude, relax.
He looks at you a little more intensely. Relax, we're talking about everything. He grabs a hold of your shoulder for a second, and he says, just look, and an image springs to life in front of you. You see the worlds all around you kind of floating in the void, disintegrate into ash, disappearing. All you can see is fine gossamer threads kind of spiraling out from them. And then there is nothing. My darkness. The one thing that has been common in all the threads of future is that they cease, they end, and I can't stop it. Not alone, and that is why I have come to you. You, your bloodline, some of the others that I have moved into positions necessary in order to avoid this outcome. And if you are not resolute of will and strong enough to accomplish what needs to be done to assist me, this is our future, nephew.
Everything ending?
Everything ending.
That's a lot to put on somebody. I can see why you're not chilling.
It is a lot to put
He
on
laughs.
somebody, and it is a
He
reason
laughed for a
why-
moment and
Go ahead.
ups. Lefe sort of like chuckle laughs. He doesn't ever do that, like that nervous laughter.
Says, this is something that I've borne as a personal weight for thousands of years, through many iterations. I've tried over and over again. It is not something one person can accomplish themselves, no matter how powerful they become, no matter what they accomplish. I myself have possibly made it worse. You see, for the first time, I have tampered with my own time. And now, what was a younger version of me has torn a hole in everything. And that wasn't there last time.
So, the younger you. That's. I need time to process things. Next time we talk, I'll probably be able to process that.
I will speak with you again. It is a lot to put on someone's shoulders. Just realize you need to be able to make decisions without thought, knowing they are right. And you need to get stronger. Finding the remnants of the crown, finding the gems that you have is one step, a small amount in a greater fabric. It is the beginning of the end of the end.
Right. Do you follow the path?
I make the path, my faith. He turns to you and just says, over his shoulder at this point, you can see like a teardrop fall down the side of his cheek. I need your aid, and I need others' aids. And I have burnt the bridges that I would have crossed. I am no longer trusted. Never was, really. I will speak with you again when I have time. And you see him just...
Goodbye, Uncle Carver.
Roland, what do we see happen from you in your scene?
Yeah, I'd like to do a scene. I'd like to invite Selphus into this scene.
So where is Selphus at when you meet up with him?
Oh no, I'm not meeting up with Selphus. This is more of like a happenstance kind of thing.
Okay.
Roland's in the cargo hold with the bullet.
Okay.
Sophus is probably walking around the ship just with a cup of tea. Just probably partway through just kind of like looking at the mural and also just partly just being in his own head. But he's usually kind of in a saner state when he's drinking a cup of tea.
Selphus would come into the cargo hold and see Roland reattaching a couple of stray plates to the bullet, which is not something that Roland would do, but he can handle it reasonably enough.
You know, it's not gonna make that thing any prettier.
Oh, Selphus. Inspecting your domain, my lord?
Just out for a stroll.
Yes, trooping the grounds, as it were, ensuring the
Oh.
loyalty of your people.
You don't get into the positions I've been in if you assume loyalty.
Let me ask you a question. Selphus.
Yes, Reverend?
Brother Selphus.
Father?
If the Euclidean, which is your ship, this domain of yours, this plot of land which you have carved out for yourself, if that belongs to you, does this, which lies on this domain, he gestures towards the bullet, the skiff inside the cargo hold, does this also belong to you? Or, by gain through our Captain Lefay, does it belong to him?
How does the title captain belong to him?
By nature of the trust of the people aboard this ship, I assure you, if it were to come down to a vote, he would be significantly outvoted, sir.
What was the nature that brought the crew onto this ship?
Oh, are you claiming that you are in charge of the ship by nature of the fact that you're the fixer that got us the job? Should we give every fixer that gives us a job the spoils from our conflict?
No, I'm merely just toying with your philosophical debate that you're giving in, because frankly, I could give a rat's ass. I just like fucking with you people.
Fabulous. And then, like, all the doors in the cargo hold close. Selphus, I want to be honest with you outside of my character, if I may. You're probably going to survive what's about to happen to you, but I want you to know that I hope that this ship crushes you. And then Roland gets inside the skiff, lifts the opens up the back and takes off.
Suddenly, the hull violently decompresses. Selphus, what do you do to try to save yourself real quick as Roland goes and exits the back of the vessel, attempting to kill you in that moment as
How big
unconditional rage seemed to be over his eyes as he looked at you.
is the bullet big enough for two people?
Yes.
Internally?
Yes.
I make myself slip into the bullet's cargo cockpit.
It's just the cockpit. So you're gonna use a teleportation effect? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I ultimately just want to teleport right next to him drinking the tea.
All right, so give me a magical roll, and this would be with one application of chaos.
Yep. I still have a +1 for my last roll, so that's a 17 naturally.
All right, Selphus, your eyes go wide for a split second, and then you just instinctually twist and zap, and suddenly Selphus is sitting in the seat next to you, Roland, as you are starting to leave the vessel.
That's a hell of a trick you got there.
So's this. Roland lifts the door and he does the palm strike, like the Sorcerer Supreme did.
Yeah.
Boom.
Try to launch him out of the vessel.
Yeah, just launch him out of the vessel.
All right, give me an agile roll. Go ahead and make your attack. Selphus, roll defense.
Sure. Not one.
Critical failure.
All he cut is a crit. I don't care if I lose. I just don't want to lose with a crit.
All right. Roland slams you in the chest, and since you're not buckled in or anything, suddenly you find yourself launched out of the vehicle again with the air knocked out of your system. As Roland closes the hatch and takes off out of distance, you now find yourself floating in the void. The
Out
hangar
of
bay
distance.
is still open.
Out of distance in what sense?
Well, his vessel is taking off in the opposite direction from yours, so before you're able to react, it's gotten far enough away, it's outside of your regular range. If you would like to do something requiring maybe 3 applications of chaos, you might be able to change that.
I don't know if he's gonna go that far in terms of. I want to ask. So putting myself back in the same position I was in before would be 3 applications.
Yes, because he's now getting too far away. He stunned you temporarily with an attack.
Gotcha. Okay. Putting myself into the ship in a safer part than the cargo hold.
Well,
would
there's
be...
no cargo hold. There's no trunk aboard the skiff.
No, if I'm saying like.
Oh,
not
inside
the skiff, the
inside
ship,
of your
the ship.
Yes, you could do that.
Yeah.
That right there would still just require 1 application of overload.
I'll just do that.
Chaos. Right, give me another magical roll. So this time you're like, eyes start popping again, and you twist and turn back towards the cargo hold, and boom, you reappear inside of it again, kind of breathing heavily, closing the doors as they start to come up. Leifei, you step down into the cargo hold in time to like close the doors and everything as Sulfus makes his way back inside. All you can see is the fading lights of the engines that Roland took in the vessel as he left.
I don't know if he wants to listen, but maybe you should call him back. He's probably gonna get too far away too soon.
Is that Roland?
Yeah, he's just doing what he's doing. He tried to kill me twice now, so I think he has issues to work through.
All right. So Leifei, he's getting further and further away. You gonna try to radio before he's out of range?
I'm just sitting there watching him go, drinking my tea still.
Actually,
I've been holding it this entire time.
You have just the tiniest bit of tea left.
I know.
Some of it's in the void floating around.
He's just like, eh.
He looks down and swirls it for a second, and then just drinks the part that has a little bit of leaves left in the bottom.
Yeah.
Message to the bullet? Roland, what the hell are you doing?
Roland, do you leave the radio on and answer, or do you turn it off?
You asked me, what happens if the path sends you somewhere you ain't want to go? And then Roland clicks the radio off.
Yep.
And with that, tonight's episode of The Delinquents has come to a close. Thank you very much for watching tonight. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We're going to go around this table at random as usual and give us your socials. Let us know where we can find you, and let us know what you are looking forward to in the next bit of the campaign, the next arc of the campaign. First one to go again is going to be Atomic with another 4.
Hi everybody. 4. Funny thing is 4 is my lucky number, but apparently is for this campaign. So hi everybody. My name is Atomic Zero. You can find me at twitch.tv/Atomic Zero and on the Twitters at ttv_Atomic Zero. I am mostly at this point a TTRPG player and showrunner, as well as I used to do some variety streaming. You can catch me right now on this lovely show, on my own show with Mr. T.D. Benjamin down there, who tried to kill me, so his character might just so happen die next week. But we play a brand new game that started last night, Esper Genesis 5e, called Esper Genesis Revelations. Go check that out on my Twitch channel.
It's a great one. And what are you looking forward to in the next arc of the story?
I want there to be some growth within Sulfus, not just in his, because he's mainly just been very much solo motivated and solo surrounded. I think it'd be interesting to see basically the sane part of him potentially trying to branch out a bit as he kind of gets used to the fact that there's people around him that aren't going anywhere.
Developing found family. That's a good direction to take. Move from there to Benjamin.
Hey everybody, I'm not going to do the fast version. Hey, what's up? I'm TT Benjamin. You can find me on Twitter at TTBenjamin1. What's up, TPK Roleplay? Thank you for rating and sticking around. Big ups to you. Love y'all. Hope you come check out the show down the line. I am the host and dungeon master of the Lawful Great Adventures podcast. You can find us on Twitter at great_lawful. It's a good show. We've been running for 2 years. We're in our second campaign. It's going really well. I'm super excited. I hope you come listen to it. You can also find me on Mr. Atomic's stream, Esper Genesis Revelations. We just debuted literally last freaking night. It was great. It was a blasty. I had a lot of fun. I play I play Bender. I'm playing Bender. I'm Bender. As for what I'm looking forward to, so one of the reasons that Roland had to steal that ship is because I'm actually taking 3 weeks off from the show, because I'm also a musician and I booked a gig that is going to take up the next 3 Fridays in my life. So I'm going to be out. So what I'm excited for is to not pay attention to the show and come back and everything is completely messed up and I get to try to figure out what the hell happened. That's always my favorite.
It's a bit of time since last
Yeah.
week. We do have next week off, so you're only going to miss 2 episodes, but still, it'll be a while before you come back.
Literally so much can happen in 2 episodes. It's
Literally.
nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. You come back to completely different crewmates. You'll be like, why wasn't I there to save their lives?
In the space of 2 episodes, we hired and then killed a cook last season. Like, it was
true.
just boom, boom. Like, that was fast.
That's true, you did. And you fought a sky kraken at the same time. Moving along from there to go. Yeah, that you already said what you had been looking forward to in the arc, right? Did you do that? Yes.
Me?
Yes. Did you?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to coming back in a
coming
month.
back, right? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Kai, you're up. Leifei, save me from looking like a fool quickly.
I can't do that.
Damn
I don't
it.
do anything quick, of course. Remember,
I'm tired.
my name is Kai Roche. You can find me on Twitch at Mascane. I stream Risk of Rain. That's about it. You can also find me on Twitter at Real Kai Roche. I talk about D&D stuff sometimes, Risk of Rain stuff sometimes, dumb stuff all the time. I play Captain Leifei Ariane. Captain? I'm looking forward to the exploration of Conrad, because right now it seems like Conrad's entering into a state where he's getting more comfortable with the crew. And the first couple sessions of talking to Conrad and Conrad bullying me was like, huh. And it's strange. I didn't expect it so soon, and I'm very excited to see how he melds in. Like, he's a tough nut to crack, and I don't think that I can be the one to crack that nut, man.
You need a heavy duty nutcracker for that one, I think. Lots of pressure from multiple angles. Beatrix, Gwen, you're up.
Hello. My name is Gwen, also known as McSherry. You can usually find me over there in chat, modding it up, but 3 Fridays out of every 4, I'm here having fun as Bee. You can also find me on Twitter at McSherry. I put up an interesting story prompt. If you want to take a look at it, take a look. Let me know what you think. What am I looking forward to? Everything. No, I'm most looking forward to right now Clarion rehabilitating Bee and seeing how Zep tries to screw with that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that myself as well. And we say that Clarion taking on already that position where maybe some threads are being thrown out to maybe take leadership. that
very well be
pretty good there. Speaking of which, Nora, Clarion Bell.
Hi, I'm Nora, aka Zetadine on Twitter. You can also find me on the Thursdays that we're not doing this, being a misguided soul in the amazing game. Anna is threatening to wrap up the campaign, and I'm busy trying to convince Barty Time to start another so that I can continue gaming with those same amazing people. Other than at Roll for Chaos, you can also find me on the podcast Cornfields and Kobolds, where we are, I believe we are releasing another episode we had technical issues with the episode we were about to release, so I'm not sure when that's coming out. But we are actually thinking about our next arcs and our next campaigns, and I am going to start leading one as a dungeon master, and I am super excited for that. And editing it.
Yes.
So it'll be in my own homebrew world, which I am excited for everyone to learn about, and I am going to be starting to do editing. So please help me, God. And what I am looking forward to is definitely like just all the interpersonal dynamics and like just like the Conrad thing and just what everybody else said. You all said
All
it
of that good stuff. I will move on to Conrad. Jackal, are you there? You fall asleep on us.
He looks
Apparently.
frozen to me.
Yeah, he either froze or he fell asleep. One or the other. I'm not sure which.
I
Conrad!
saw him move.
Conrad, are you alive? If you're alive, bark once for yes.
Bork once for yes.
Well, I think Jackal. There he is. There he is. He's alive. Oh yay! You're muted. We can't hear you.
What happened?
It's the end of the show, my friend.
Oh, did we hit anything?
You didn't hit anything this time. Not this time.
Any interpersonal drama?
All the time. Yes.
Only a little.
Just all
Only
the
a
time.
little?
Normal.
Yeah, a normal amount. Only one attempted murder.
All right.
Technically 2, but it was the same person both times.
True. Yeah.
So, Conrad, what are you looking forward to in the next story arc?
I'm looking to see how Conrad reconciles their past.
It's a good one to look forward to. Absolutely.
I was gonna say something, but never mind. Let's let them figure it out. Yeah, that was the least stressful episode out of all, and I've been doing this for a while.
Well, glad you had a lightweight episode there. All right.
You have my permission to rip my heart out of my chest the next episode and grind me into a paste with whatever twisted psychological brutality you have in store.
That's perfectly fine because, you know, as the vessel arrives that's preparing to purchase the items from you, you see a familiar face as the individual that you're buying from. Your ex-girlfriend, Ivonia.
Oh, no!
So, is there a bros prefer hoes rule here, or is it like...
All right.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody. I am Lot Even Stark. Catch me on Lot Even Stark, Twitter and Twitch. Oh, Pixel Raid. Thank you very much for popping in, Denpian. If I said that right, sorry if I said it wrong. We have just finished, but I will go ahead and send the love on and raid you somewhere else as well. But thanks for popping in.
This is a dream. This is a dream. This is a dream.
This is a dream. Yeah. Catch our next game tomorrow. We have the Unremarkables, the Masks superhero teen angsty show at 5 Pacific Standard Time. And then next Thursday, we're having our epic conclusion to Misguided Souls. We'll see you there. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and have a great evening.